Well, good morning, it's Keith here. We're going to be going to start the live stream very soon. Now, I'll just explain what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be play testing some mini arcade machines that I bought. These kind of, I guess they're probably ARM-based little things. There will be a competition later on, a programming competition, which will be on my forum, but two of them will be given away. But today, as I say, we'll be testing them out. These systems are a bit different today. I'm going to be using a different camera and things, so it'll be a bit different, a bit of a challenge maybe. In other news, I've also bought a mini keyboard that I'm supposed to be able to control my live streaming software with, but for some reason OBS doesn't respond to the keystrokes unless it's got focus. No idea what's going on there. Seems like an OBS problem, but slightly disappointing. But that's the challenges of the live streaming thing, I guess. Anyway, as usual, the next live stream will be on Friday, the 5 AM stream. That's Thursday if you're in the UK. And there'll be another weekend live stream on Saturday. Next week is actually my last week at work. And after I start the Christmas holiday, I will be doing a midweek stream called the Midday MS-DOS. That's going to be at 12 o'clock in Japan, which I think is early evening in the US and probably some terrible time in the UK. But if you get a chance to catch it, please do so. And like my usual streams, it will be available after the fact for you to view at your pleasure. Time now. We're a few minutes early, so I will just wait a moment for people to join. I hope you're enjoying the nice Chibi-Arcade image I quickly hurried together this morning. I was working on some more tutorials as usual, but I thought I should try and put some effort in to make a nice graphic. Unfortunately, I didn't plan the size out quite right, and it's not actually the right size to cover the please wait stream start soon box, but I didn't really put enough time into it, I guess. Anyway. So I'd like to thank everyone who's joining me for these live streams. It's very kind of them. I really appreciate all the viewers I get, even if it's just one or two. If you're interested, I do have a Discord server now. You're welcome to join on there. The chat is typically programming and retro gaming, but you can chat about pretty much anything you want if you prefer. So there's a link in the comments at the moment, so please go ahead and join on that if that's of interest to you. Of course, I post updates on all the videos I'm making because YouTube doesn't necessarily notify people. I was looking at my views this morning with some bafflement because the new videos I'm releasing are getting about the same number of views as... So my cough still hasn't cleared up, and I now have a dedicated mute button to get around that. My new videos are getting about 50 views, and that's what my first videos were getting. So despite having gone from a few hundred subscribers to nearly 3,000, apparently that makes no difference to the number of people who view my content, which people aren't very interested. That's absolutely fine, but I can't help wondering if maybe YouTube aren't promoting the videos to people as much as they could be, because if gaining subscribers doesn't increase the number of viewers who watch your content, what's the point of gaining subscribers? But anyway, that's one of the mysteries of the world, I guess. Anyway, I've just got a few more minutes until we hit 6 o'clock. I'll just wait a moment just to see if anyone else wants to join in. You're welcome to join in the chat and say whatever you want, ask questions, just make fun of the mini arcade machines as you see appropriate. I have no idea if these are any good. None of them have been tested yet. That's kind of the point of this. So it's going to be a bit of a mystery. Maybe they won't even work. Who knows? Well, anyway, we're about ready to start now. So let's switch over to the proper window. And hello there. I just got to position my camera just a little bit more there. So welcome to Chibi-Arcade Live. You can see me on camera. You can see me on camera here as well. We've got cameras everywhere as usual, and lights everywhere, and Christmas trees, and all the essentials for a good live stream. So let's just have a quick chat about what I've kind of done over here. So usually I've got my crappy little overhead camera, which is quite crappy, and it also causes a rather large delay in the video, and I thought maybe we could do a little bit better. And I could cough a bit as well. So what I've done this time is I've plugged in my 4K camera here. Unfortunately, it can't work via USB, it seems. I thought it could like work as a webcam, but it can't, so we've had to give up on that idea. And so what I'm doing is I'm plugged into my usual analog capture, and I mean it's working okay. And talking too much is making me cough, so I apologise for that. Anyway, unfortunately the audio from it isn't very good at all, so I'm still using my regular mic, and I think that's going to cause a sync delay, unfortunately, which isn't going to be great. Hi there, Kiltex. Very kind of you to join me. Incidentally, the nickname you're using with the weird symbols in the Discord. Sorry, the mute button didn't work there. It's coming up as a bunch of squares in my Discord on my Linux machine, so I apologise if I don't address you properly. It's probably because I just can't recognise your name there. But anyway, slight curiosity. So yeah, so we're going to be testing all of these. As I say, the audio might have a slight issue because there might be some sync issues, but I've done the best I can. Using the internal mic audio was very noisy and it wouldn't have been very pleasant, so I think this is going to be the best we can do this time. I'll have to look at getting a higher quality USB webcam and hopefully one with a lower latency, I guess. So anyway, so yeah, we've got a variety of machines. We'll just go through and discuss all of them first before we start the unboxing. I'm going to move them all out of the way here. I've made this little cardboard frame here just as a nice setting. I've got a light up here to illuminate it. I've got lights back all over the place as well. My camera on a little monopod here, so it's pointing straight in. So I thought this was quite a nice little thing. Just a few 100 yen pieces of cardboard and makes a nice layout, and it's actually worked quite well because I thought it was going to be problematic with the cameras, but I've not moved my normal camera and I'm in frame here, and I got this one, and I can be playing them and I can appear looking at the camera, relatively speaking, at the same time. So it's worked a lot better than I'd have possibly expected, really. But anyway, so get rid of this lousy cough. That's the only problem I've got at the moment. Anyway, so we'll go through them, I guess, in some kind of order. So this is the one that really started this idea off. I saw this in a local shop. I mean, I'm a big fan of the Bubble Bobble, so I was tempted, and my resistance is rather shockingly low to Bubble Bobble, I guess, because I ended up buying it for no apparent reason, even though I've got about 7 different versions of this on all of the other retro consoles I own, and I'm also certain to never actually play it. I'll probably just sit on the shelf once in a while, and maybe I'll turn it on a live stream just to look impressive or something. But anyway, as I say, so this costs about 3,000 yen, which is about $30. It's kind of short and stumpy, as you can see, but it looks very nice, very big. Nice big joystick. So that was the first one. And then I thought, well, if I'm going to waste money on such a useless tat, might as well get maybe a few of them, and I could put them in a nice row or something. Maybe it look like a little arcade centre. So I bought this second Galaxian one, and so those two are going to go on my my shelves of rubbish. But then I thought, well, I can't really do two machines on a live stream. Oh, I'm only joking, Kiltech. It'll be fine. It was just curious that that my Linux machine's fonts weren't right. But I'm going to know who you are. The only one with square characters. So unless hundreds of people all use weird symbols and they all come out as squares, it's not going to be a problem. So yeah, I got these two that are the same brand, and they're going on my shelves. But the remaining 4, I'm planning to do as 2 separate competitions. So the competition's going to be the same as my last one. They do, don't they, Kiltech? As I say, they're going to go on my shelf. They're not on offer, but the other ones will be. So the competition, if you can't be bothered to stick around, is going to be log on to my forum, sign up. It's free to sign up, so anyone can sign up. And you've just got to write something of your own in assembly and show it off. And as long as you legitimately wrote something of your own, then even if it's terrible and you've no plan to do any work on it, you can win because it'll be selected at random. And so I'm going to give away 2 of these this time, and then assuming they all work, I'll give the other 2 away next time. But you know, these weird things, who knows if they even work, so I can't say which yet. So yeah, 2 people will get one of these each this time, and then in a few months' time, once this competition's ended, the other 2 will be given away in the same way. Exactly the same as the t-shirt competition was. So yeah, there'll be 2 winners this time. Now, as I say, the those 2 were about 3,000 yen. It's terrible cost driving me nuts. Anyway, and these ones were about 1,500 yen. So these are quite cheap. And they're also quite small. They're very, very small. So they look... Oh dear, this... so these were about 1,500 yen or 2,000 yen. I think that one was cheaper and that one was more expensive, but I may have got that the wrong way around. So those are very cheap and they're quite cute. I suspect they're going to be hard to play though. So I think those will be the runners-up prizes, I think. Okay, now the better ones are these. Now these were actually more expensive than the officially licensed Bubble Bobble, because this was 3,000 yen, but this one was about 4,000. I think this one was 5,000. This one was at least 5,000. So I don't want to hear any accusations I'm keeping the best stuff for myself and giving away the rubbish, because as I say, the little ones are very cheap, but these, if they work okay, should be pretty good, because I say they were quite pricey. So we're going to go through them one by one. I'm going to open the boxes up, have a look at the hardware, power them up, and see what they're like. So, okay. So let's start off with the little PacMan. I'm going to try and open these without damaging the boxes. Although I can't quite work out how to open this. There we go. So, we're going to have to hope the autofocus is kind to us. So they've put it on a keyring, because obviously everyone's going to want to carry that around with them at all times, I suppose. And I believe, oh, they've gone and put a screw on the back, the vicious bastards. Oh, that's lucky. I do have my screwdrivers on the table here. My poor tidying skills have actually come to good purpose for once. I happen to have screwdrivers lying around. Hello there, Mike. It's very kind of you to join me today. We're going to be testing all of this hardware, these little arcade machines, and see what they're like. Yes, I believe that was a the vicious bastard. I believe that was it was a Faulty Towers line. It wasn't it what Basil Faulty said. He was bashing the car with a branch or something. I just thought it was a quite amusing over exaggeration. Although the YouTube is trying to censor you when you're actually repeating what I just said. So. 0 points for YouTube there, really. But, okay. I tried to mute that, but problem with my mini keyboard. So let's figure out what earth we're going to do here, because look how tiny it's tiny. Oh, it started making a noise. So. Well, it's certainly playable. Okay. Oh, it's fallen asleep again. Now I'm reaching around the camera here, so if there's a thud and the camera goes to the side, you can guess I've knocked it over. So we've got 2 buttons here. Now I guess if I put it on the ground, it'll be on the little box, it'll be stiller. So let's try that. This is going to be very weird. Now, do I look at the camera screen or do I look at the screen itself? God, it's tiny. I'm looking at the camera screen. Now, if the audio's out of sync, that's going to be the video capture setup I've got here, so don't blame the arcade machine for that. It looks pretty good here. I hope the audio balance is okay. I hope you can hear me over it. It sounds quite loud, but it's inside the box, so hopefully my voice is still louder. Right, I'm no expert on these games, but it feels quite satisfying to play. The controller, despite being utterly tiny, is very satisfactory. You know, it's comfortable. I'm not dying because it's malfunctioning. Now, it does occur to me that, you know, it'd be nice if these had some kind of coin slot type button, you know, to add extra coins or something. And I don't know if there's two buttons here, but PacMan never used a fire button, did it? So I don't know what they're going to do. I guess it's just a start button and a continue button or something. Or maybe it's just a generic packaging that they're using for various games. So, but yeah, so it's I mean, as I say, I'm actually playing it looking through the camera screen, and it's very comfortable. Let me just look at it in real life. Well, you can. I don't know if you can see the pixels actually kind of look better on the camera screen because of the interpolation and things, but the the pixels are slightly noticeable on it on the screen. Okay, thanks, Kiltech. It's good to let you know. I'm gonna be a bit flaky on the chat because I'm having to look away from the screen. So, yeah, maybe it's a bit tricky. All of the various things going on here, but so as I say, oh, it actually even lights up. Oh, that's adorable. That is. I didn't realise that. I'm actually quite impressed by this because my thought was going to be, you know, no one over the age of 3 is going to be able to play it because it's so small. But I'd be telling horrible lies if I claimed my usual performance at this game was any better than I played here. You know, it seems quite nice. Actually, though, I mean, the only thing is that actually looking through the camera screen, I think, is making the image bigger than if I was actually looking at it with my own eyes at a normal viewing distance. But as I say, it's very it's for such a tiny little thing, and considering it was only like $15 or maybe slightly less, just not sure what the exchange rate is at the moment. It's you know, it looks very satisfactory. I think I read online that someone was commenting that the audio sounded slightly off, or maybe that was the Bubble Bobble one. I'm not familiar enough with the game to make sort of such precise comments. All I'll say is it doesn't sound unpleasant to listen to. You know, it sounds perfectly nice. I wasn't quite sure what colour that was then. I thought maybe it was edible or something. The screen is very small. So I've got a few left here, so let's see if we can finish this level. There we go. We have to do this one now. There we go, they all turn blue. Makes you wonder what these are running on. I haven't played any of them, but looking at the box of one of the fake Chinese ones that run 200 games, it looks very suspiciously like an S. I don't think it's running anything like MAME. I think it's running a... Oh, you got the little attract animation there. I think it's running something like a NES emulator, although I don't recognise any of the games on it. So either they may be using a bunch of very generic games to avoid getting nailed by the copyright police on the box, or maybe maybe it's like NES hardware, but they're using a bunch of homebrew or something. But, I'm just going to have another go looking at it in my with my own eyes, just to... Okay. Well, it looks to me like the resolution of the screen is a little bit lower than it should be for the original game. Probably looks about half the resolution, which, I mean, you know, is perfectly understandable for such a small machine, but I'm sure they could manage a 240 by 320 display on a device this small if they wanted. So like I say, that's just an observation, not a criticism really. But that's for such a tiny device and for a relatively cheap device, very nice really. I'm actually quite enjoying this, I'll be honest with you. I've got PacMan for like the NES and the MSX and things, so there's absolutely no need for me to be playing it on this tiny thing, but I'm finding it quite enjoyable. I'll go away. Let's have a look at, see if there's any, there's some kind of instruction manual in the bottom here. Let's have a look at that, see if there's anything interesting in it. Okay, so here we go. Tiny Arcade, the smallest fully functional arcade game. Well, that's a claim. Nothing interesting there. I was just saying if we leave it, it'll go into demo mode. Is one of them marked start? Hang on a minute. It says to press the start button. I didn't. Oh, it's not marked. Oh, I see. Oh. I thought they meant marked start on the device, but they actually mean it's marked start just here, start button. And it will go into sleep mode while we notice that. Oh, see, it's got a little power switch on it. Okay. Oh, fair enough. I mean, it seems to go to sleep pretty quickly anyway, but it does also have that start with that power button as well. You think it's a NES? I do suspect on the other one, that's kind of the suspense of it. We'll have to see what it is. I'm hoping if it's a NES that at least that it might have some proper NES games. My pessimism will be running quite high if it turns out that it's like really shoddy Chinese clone games, you know, if they're using all of the finest weird shonky releases. I mean, maybe there'll be weird releases and some of them will be quite good, but as I say, I will be initially concerned. Oh, sorry about this cough. Okay, well, I'm going to put this away for a moment. We might come back to it. But for now, let's just let's put it back together for now. It's very annoying they put all of these screws on all these battery snaps these days. I didn't think of that. I got all the batteries ready, but it didn't occur to me that they'd be screwing them in. But of course they do that because, you know, I guess these days they got to stop the kids eating the batteries. In our days we just had natural selection, and the kids that ate the batteries didn't survive to produce other kids that would eat batteries. But nowadays they can't trust the kids not to eat AAA batteries, I guess. So we're going to do the, we're going to zoom out. Okay, so it's big. It's big. We need to zoom out quite. Oh, need to even move the camera. There we go. There's our bubble bobble. So I mean, before you even open it, the art is very nice on the box. You've got all of these characters here. The old Baron von Blubber here. Hyper Drunk, isn't it? I don't know the names of the other ones. So as I say, this one will be going on my shelf, but we will try and keep the box in good condition. So we've got to use our knife here to cut the seal. Just going to have to move it out of camera just a moment to try and... Oh, there's the second seal on. Oh, they're catching me out. They've put seals on all of the sides to stop it escaping. I don't quite know why that's necessary, but apparently it is. So as you can see, this is very big. I mean, it's almost too big. I don't know. I'd say this is obvious. The other one, you kind of get the feeling it's aimed at small children, whereas this one, I've got an instruction manual here. Bubble Bobble Micro Player Retro Arcade User Guide. So this is all in Japanese, so we won't bother reading it at this stage. It doesn't look like it's very big anyway. And so this one actually has the option to be powered by USB. I don't know if you can see that. It's a USB port here. Oh, we've got volume and headphone out even. That's for. Okay. So we need 4 AA batteries for this one. I have some AA batteries here. So 4 AA batteries. I guess it's the 5 volts. So that would make sense for it to be runnable off the USB. I'm already struggling for USB power over here. I've got so many devices. The camera's running off like a dedicated USB. It's not powered by USB, but it uses a USB adapter as its power source. And I got like a couple of mini phones I use for. I don't see if you can see that, but there's like some kind of sticker on the front here. Oh, here it is. It says peel just on the side here. But yeah, unfortunately, I don't. It's going to be easier for me to use the batteries than it is to use the USB power today. So that's what I'm doing. So we'll stick the. We'll stick that on the back here maybe. Okay. Oh, so we actually have a reset and a start button on this one. That's quite nice. And we've got volume. I can't see any power button though. So let's try pressing the start button and see what happens. Nothing happens. Okay. How do we turn it on? Well, I put the batteries in the wrong way. Oh, don't make me read the instruction manual. Don't reduce me to that. Can't see any switch on it. You made it look foolish. Oh, that's nice. So me complaining about lack of a coin slot on the other one, they've gone and punished me by making this one the coin slot is actually the power button. I like that. That's cute, and it even lights up. So there we go. So let's have a look at the screen. Yeah, I think so. That looks to be full resolution to me. I think this one is a 320 by 240 screen, or 250. I'm not sure quite what the original resolution was, but it doesn't look like there's any scaling, and it doesn't look like the image is degraded in any way. So okay, so the select button resets, and the start button starts the game up. So we've got our volume buttons over here. Okay, let me just zoom in here then, so you can see the gameplay. Now, I'm not sure, but to my eye, the aspect ratio looks slightly out. It looks a bit wider than it should be. I don't know what you think. The game looks very good. The speed feels pretty much right. Let's say I'm no expert, but when as I've said before, the Master System version, the Western Master System version, was 50 Hz, and that felt really slow. The sound sounded awful, and the jumping felt sluggish, whereas this isn't noticeably any problem like that. So yeah, very nice. The controller. Now you can actually unscrew this, so I'm using it as like a stick, but you can actually use it as a D-pad as well. It feels comfortable. Although, I mean, as I say, I was surprised by the last one, that the last one didn't feel particularly hampered by the small controller. But yeah, very nice. I can't see any reason to complain about this. It's as good as any other I've played. Yeah, give them what for. Yes, my kit looks very good. So we can pause the game with the start button. Now, one thing I noticed that, I mean, it's not really a complaint, but there's no mention of credits. As I say, I would kind of like there to be a real credits option where you could add extra credits and continue and things. Whereas this doesn't have that, so I suppose it's probably not a recompilation of the arcade game. Maybe it's I don't know. It doesn't look like a NES game, but oh, there's some slight screen tearing there. I don't know if you saw that. There was a sort of diagonal redraw. Obviously, there's some kind of sync issue with the hardware, but no, again, not a problem. Just if you saw that wasn't my camera. That was actually visible on the real screen here. Yeah, there's a diagonal kind of line, as you can see that the scrolling and the refresh aren't quite lining up perfectly, but not that it, as I say, it's in no way reduces from the enjoyment of the game. I guess there's no prospect of two-player on this. There's no kind of external. There's no external device you can plug in or anything. So. So as I say, it's given me a password. Now, does that mean it's a NES? I can't remember what the NES version looks like. Is it? Would that be the NES version it's running then? Because the NES version would have had passwords. Now, is there a way of entering that password? That would fit in with the select, start, 2 fire buttons. Yeah, well, I mean, I'm not familiar with enough with the NES to know what it exactly looks like. As I say, I mean, this looks far better than the Amstrad version or something. The thing that I would notice is if we can cause the sprite limit to kick in. Let's start firing bubbles and see if they start disappearing. Yeah, they are they're flickering up here. It's hit like a sprite limit, and that would be about the NES limit. And I'm sure the NES version you would have used passwords because it wouldn't have had any kind of solids, any kind of storage. So yeah, I mean that's like probably the. Let's reset and have a look. Well, the select. Oh, it doesn't say select. I misread it. It says reset. I apologise. I misread that as select. So there's no mention of any password or any options here. Bubble and jump don't do anything, and the start button just starts the game. So, oh, I've got a continue option, but I can't get to it. I can't get to that continue option. I'm pressing up, down, left and right. Oh no, okay, well if I press bubble it switches down. So yes, I do have the ability to enter a password then. Yeah, okay, so I can select a password alphabetically here. So I can't see any 2-player option. I don't have a select button though, but I'm not going to try and enter a password. I apologise. I tried to mute myself coughing and I must have missed the button. I accidentally muted myself. It's not very easy looking away from the screen, unfortunately. Keeping control of the live stream. Okay. Yeah, so very nice. Feels stupid. The colours are a lot better in real life than the camera's making them look. By the way, they look slightly washed out on the capture, but I mean that might just be the overhead light. Let's try turning it off, see what happens. There's the switch. No, actually, that backlighting issue there, that's just the camera angle. Oh, now the camera's struggling. Oh, let's turn the light back on. The camera's not liking. It's not liking focusing on that screen with nothing else lit up. Yeah, I do need a light on my mute button. But well, I just need the cough to get better. Would be easier. In all seriousness, maybe I could set the button that turns the mute on to auto set like some massive flashing light on the screen or something. Maybe there is a way I can do it. I don't know. But if anyone knows with OBS why there's a problem with secondary keyboards and shortcut which have hardware shortcuts, because this mini keyboard it's driverless. It's like it's the macros are being done in hardware, and the control. I'm using like Control Alt and Shift and 1, and it works when the OBS has focus. But when it loses focus, it only works one time in about 5 or 10, and I understand why there would be a difference, because the way you capture keys if you've got focus and the way you capture keys if you don't is different. But the problem occurs on both Windows 7 and Windows 10. And as I say, I struggle to believe it's the fault of the keyboard. I think it's something to do with the way OBS is working, because I saw a few other people have similar comments about other devices and things, and it sounds like it's maybe some kind of limitation in OBS. Which is a surprise, because OBS is usually so good. But as I say, the main reason I bought the keyboard was so that I could do screen switching with Notepad++ when all the keys on the keyboard do something pretty much. So I thought, well, I can map things to really crazy combinations of keys that are going to be implausible to press with the fingers, but if they're mapped to a single button, I can easily switch things. But as I say, unfortunately, it seems OBS is rebelling against my mini keyboard, which is a damn shame, because it was 6,000 yen. It's about $60. So you know, I didn't spend that kind of money expecting to have problems. I expected that kind of money expecting it to work really well. It didn't. But as I say, it's still helpful. It's just not perfect. I was going to do a review of it, but I can't review it until I work out whether the problem's OBS or the actual thing. The image quality is much better on the real device than the camera's making it look. I think hang on a minute. The camera's slightly off on the focus, I think. There we go. It's a bit better. The image looks really good on the screen. My last prize was 3 t-shirts. I gave away 3 t-shirts on the same one. They've been shipped to the people who won them now, so that they should be receiving them or have received them. But this will be the same kind of competition. But yeah, the competition's is always going to be the same. It's just show something you've programmed in assembly, no matter how far along it is, even if it's half finished and you've got to give up on it. It's really just I mean, there's 2 things. Firstly, I want to encourage people to have a go at programming, and a little prize might help in that. And the second thing is I want to give away some things to my backers and my followers and things, but I can't give them away to patrons because of the patron rules about gambling, and I don't want to give them away to people who have no interest in my site, my videos or anything else. So I have to put a very small amount of effort in. Sorry, I'm hearing an echo somewhere. I don't know what's echoing. I don't know what you mean, do a bid on the winner. I'm picking them at random. My phone suddenly started echoing, even though it's got a headphone thing plugged in. What's going on there? Anyway, so a video on the winner. Sorry, I don't know what you mean. I don't want to announce like who won the prizes and things, because they might not. It's just my end, but I was just worried Mike might be picking it up. But I don't want to do a video on the winner because they might want to be anonymous and things, and it might cause issues. So if they want to announce, I announce when the prizes have been drawn, and I send messages to the people. But I don't want to risk causing any issues with people who don't want their name out there, or don't want things like that. So if people want to announce they've won, that's fine. But as I say, from the point of view of this, I just want people to give things a go and encourage them to have a bit of fun programming. Really, it's not any more than that. So So yeah, that seems very pleasant there. We'll turn that off and we'll take the batteries out because we'll need the batteries for the next one. So that seems very pleasant. Now, if we're assuming that one's basically a NES, then it's pretty certain the other one in the same form factor will also be. Figure out where to put all this stuff. Put that over there. Okay. That's really, I don't know what suddenly started echoing. That's really annoying. Well, I say I'm probably being paranoid, but the trouble is if you're not paranoid, you end up causing an incident, and I'd rather be paranoid than risk upsetting someone or have someone get angry for some strange reason. So as I say, I prefer to just do it anonymously, and obviously I'd like people to if they get a prize to post on social networks saying, hey, look what I got, and I'd like that because obviously that helped me. But from my point of view, I just want to encourage people to have a go at the programming. Maybe log on to my forum and you know, usually you give out a bit of merchandise because it's quite nice to make a few custom t-shirts and give them away to people who are interested in my content. But in this case, sorry, I've got nothing on camera here. It's I'm just trying to cut open this box with the X-Acto knife without damaging it. Dear me, hang on a minute. This mobile phone, I know what's happened. I've got this mobile phone that I use to just monitor the audio of the stream, and the extension headphone plug is really, really tight, and I think it's popped out while I've been streaming. And that's why I'm hearing this echo, because now my in-ear audio is cut out. So hopefully you can still hear me. No, I'm not muted again. So this is the more unusual one. We're going to be trying this out now. Just bear with me a moment. I'm just going to put the video to please wait. I'll be back in just a moment. Sorry about that. The phone I was using to monitor the thing that was causing the echo had now stopped playing the stream altogether, so I had no idea if I was live or not. So things are getting worse. Anyway, we're now in a situation where we can actually get this out. Let's just cut this camera here. So many things to think about at the same time when you're doing these live streams. It's really quite difficult. So here we go. So again, we've got a little sticker here. Let's peel this off. Okay. And I'll just stick it on the back here. Now, we've got a more substantial manual here, probably in 10,000 different languages. Yeah, looks like it. So we won't bother reading that. Playtime will vary depending on the brand of batteries used. And we also need to unscrew it back again. This one only needs 3 batteries. Interesting. The fake one needs less power than the more expensive. Well, not the more expensive. Sorry, the authentic one. This was actually the more expensive of them. Okay. So we've got a big chunky stick here, but of course this is plastic, whereas the other one was metal. So the build's slightly less good. The design's quite nice. It's got a sort of a matrixy feel or something. It looks quite generic, which I think is a good thing if you've got lots of games on it. You don't want one particular design. Okay. So, got a power button on the back. Let's turn it on. So, we've got a list of games here. Let's zoom in. F-22, Racing Fighter, Vanguard, Animal Blockers, Magic Joni, Aerial Warfare, Crystal Ball, Police Dog, Police Thief, Pound. So it's real weird, chunky Chinese games, I guess. Then it feels a bit it feels a bit Action 52, doesn't it? Vigilant. Is that Vigilante? No, is it Video Poker? Oh God, I dread to think. Water Pipe, Wild Worm, Mr. Grimsdale, Wonder Ball. We can have Wild Worm and Wonder Ball. That's a bad combination. Apple Chess, Fish War, Fish War. Doesn't, I mean, they got some good titles, even if. Yes, they are. The game names may be the best part. Brother Ball. Frantic Fishing. Have you ever heard fishing being described as frantic? Oh dear. Okay. Okay. So. Toad in the Hole. Oh, that's a bit of an obscure. That's like a English. That's very English, I think. I don't think that's really known anywhere else. But so how many? We've got about 200 games. 200 of them. We've got a game called Turtles here. What? Is there any chance it's the real Turtles? Let's try it. Oh. So A and B jump us by like 100. So let's press this little start button here. So yes, absolutely no chance that's the authentic Turtles. I can't see a volume button. The volume's quite loud on it. Oh, okay. Okay, we can press this volume button here. And this will toggle between different volume levels. The thumbstick feels quite comfortable. So yeah, it looks quite NES-ish. The oh, okay. I forget what this is a clone of another game. I forget what game this is a clone of. But as I say, it's based on something else, isn't it? The screen looks fairly decent quality. It's possibly the exact same screen as the Bubble Bobble, and the screen looks very good. The stick, as I say, feels fine. It looks a bit thin. Maybe if you got over angry with the game, maybe you'd end up snapping it, but that'd be your fault, wouldn't it? So now, I'm certainly not going to play all 200 games. Didn't mean to do that, did I? So, how do we've got a reset button here. Nutcracky. They're coming up with ridiculous game titles on purpose here, I'm sure of it. Mouse Hero. I wonder where they've got the games from. Oh. It looks very likely that this is a NES emulator to me, but I've never heard of any of these. So yeah, where did they get 200 games that had... I mean, it's not cassette 50 kind of territory, it's... oh, sorry, I didn't do that right. I'm just trying to play through the camera screen there, possibly doesn't work too well. It's I'm not quite sure what we're doing here. It feels a bit like that Bouncing Babies one, but they don't actually like bounce anywhere particularly. I assume I want to avoid that bomb. I wonder if this is it's some kind of port of some kind of local NES clone that was released back in the 90s or something. Because I say these aren't games that someone shoveled out at a rate of knots. It's had some effort put into it, even if it's not Super Mario 3. So I wonder. I'm not sure what to make of that. So we've got a start button but no select button again, which I guess would be quite odd if it wasn't this. Oh, damn this cough. Okay. It's this is quite... I mean, the last one probably... Oh, I thought I'd missed that bomb, but I've just got killed by it. It's quite pleasant, so I'd say it's not... Oh. Press the wrong button there. I want to reset. It's like Steam. What, 200 games churned out at a rate of knots? Well, I'm not sure what you mean by that. I say there's certainly a wide variety of games. I'm going to give it away, so I'm not going to play it that much. But you wonder if some of them are actually quite. I have a nasty suspicion there may be a few gems in here. Little Witch. Oh, okay. Now, what this feels a bit... unless this is bugging out, the background isn't scrolling. This feels a bit shovelware. Yeah, this isn't so good. The background's got no animation really at all, except for that palette switching. So it's like, well, why is there so little animation here? Unless I'm doing something wrong. Now the bottom screen here looks like we're moving, but the top feels very stationary because of that background design. Oh, you've got one of these, and there's a few good ones. Okay. Well, I mean, if they are cheap Chinese games that were produced for some kind of clone in the past, I mean, that's not to say that some of them won't be very good. I mean, I've seen in the past that some of these fake games that have actually used legitimate IP have put quite a lot of effort into them, you know. So it's not to say that they won't be good. That one's not very good though. It feels a bit Candy Workshop. Aether Cruiser? I can't even pronounce some of these. Silent Hunter. Shrew Mouse. Lunarian. I misread that as Librarian for a moment. I was wondering how that was going to be an exciting game. Well, Fruit Dish. Frantic Mouse. There's a lot of mice. There's a lot of mice going on here. I don't know why. Let's try Fruit. Oh, I pressed the wrong button there. So I pressed the A button trying to start it, but I need to use this little start button here. Ghost Castle. That sounds exciting. Colours actually look better on the phone than when I'm looking at it here, but it's just the angle. The angle I'm sort of leaned to the side slightly, so the angle I've got is actually not as good as the camera angle. The screen does look darker in the background does look a bit better, but the colours do look quite good on it anyway. Oh, what's this rubbish? I don't know what I'm supposed to do here. Oh, I'm firing tiny bullets. I couldn't see them. I couldn't actually see them except on the camera because of the camera angle, because the angle I'm looking at it. That doesn't feel a very good one. Mike, it has to have some assembly in it, but it can be partially C and partially assembly. I mean, really, you just have had to have made some kind of a legitimate effort to program something with some assembly. You know, if you just download the Hello World off my website and go, there's my program, that's not good enough. But if you've started writing something of your own and all you've managed to do is get half a sprite on the screen, that's fine. So if there's any assembly in it, then and it's had any work put into it, that's fine. It's really just to make, as I say, I can't give away prizes to every random teenager who comes across my YouTube and wants to win free shit, and I can't give them away to patrons because of the rules. So it's just trying to give them away to people who have done some vague effort to earn them, really. And as I say, if you've done any kind of work coding in assembly and it's produced any kind of tangible result and you can show it off and explain it, then that's all I'm looking for. I'm not. It's not a competition based on the person who's done the best. It's a competition to encourage people to have a little bit of a go. That's all it is. Police dog lazy pulveration. With this copper mine, making me laugh could be dangerous to my health at this point, but... Oh, it's a little tank battle game. Yeah, beat that tank up. Yeah, this is quite fun. I like this. Give that tank what for. Oh, it's respawned. What's my actual target then if it's not to kill all the tanks? I'm not quite clear what I'm trying to achieve here. I mean, this is pretty good. I mean, it's only simple, but as I say, it's you know, it looks like someone's put some effort into it to make an enjoyable game. It seems pretty decent. Okay, let's go back to the main menu. Let's try a different one. Rabbit Village. Utmost Warfare. Vigilant. Let's try video poker and pray that it's not 18 plus. I think it's going to be okay. I can't see the screen from this distance. I could move my head closer, but still. Okay, so we've got hold. Deal. Oh, I'm doing well. That's a good start. the screen's a little bit small from this distance. I can actually see it better on the camera, and I don't want to move my head closer because I'll get in the way of the camera. So we'll play on the camera here. I can't read the numbers. What are those numbers? 6, 6, 10. Is that 3 6s? Seem to be doing incredibly well. I mean, it seems alright. Can't say it's particularly an exciting concept of a game, you know, but if you like that kind of thing, it's alright. Fish War. Let's just try Fish War. Is that a shark? A one-player game, so have they pulled the two-player game? So it's supposed to be two. Okay. What happened there? Did I sink? Did my fish sink? I can't seem to shoot anything. I don't know how this war's going to occur exactly. I have no idea what I'm supposed to be doing here. I can't see any kind of bullet. Do I have to hit them from the top, maybe? Yeah, okay, so I have to kind of jump on them from above. Well, I'm not quite sure what I expected from a game called Fish War, but I was maybe expecting something a bit more dramatic. What's going on now? Am I supposed to collect that? No. Okay, let's reset. See what other games we've got on here. Octopus Sea, Texas Hold, Spades, Jump Jump, Balloon Shoot, Music Moment. Music Moment? Let's try that. Maybe it's a... I thought maybe it was going to be a rhythm game or something, but oh god. Oh, that's terrible. That's terrible. Space, Seawolf, Vigilante, Wonderball, Apple Chess, Strong Pick, Frantic Fishing, Twin Fish. It's this strange fish obsession with this game, and it's fish and mice. I don't know what that's all about. Zero Gravity, Shoot, UFO Race, Surf G Sport, Shot Put, X Racing, Zero Gravity, Space War. Space War's got to be pretty exciting, surely. Let's try Space War. Now that background, that background's kind of cute. They've put some effort into trying to make a parallax effect there, assuming this is a NES, which it looks like it. That's quite a snazzy little background they've made there for a cheap game. No complaints with that. Leave me alone. Let's give it another go. So I mean, one would assume that the player and those enemies approaching are just sprites and the background's all done with tiles. The only criticism I would have if that's the case is that the tile area is only covering half the screen. It would seem more appropriate if it covered all of the screen, really. The sprites are quite small. Again, I kind of feel like I would like to get my head much closer to the screen, and I'm a little bit far away here. The sprites there do seem to be visibly flickering a little bit. I don't know if you can pick it up on camera. Again, that would make sense for the sprite limitation of the NES. So I suspect that's just a NES thing. That's not bad. I think it's okay. Let's reset that. Man in Red, Manic Egg, Meccano, Moo Devil World, Nutcracky, Mowing, Advanced Lawnmower Simulator in the arcade. Let's give it a go. Okay, so we've got Combine Harvesters. This is actually literally there was a game, I believe Advanced Lawnmower Simulator was originally a joke, but there was a game on the CPC that was a legitimately playable thing. And this is what you did. So we're going to get some... What is that thing down there? Is it like some kind of crazy squid? Probably like a crazy squirrel or something. I don't know what it is. I can't quite make it out. Oh dear. I've been mauled by it, whatever it was. So I'm guessing that we've got to clear all of this grass and then we achieve some kind of amazing prize. And we've got all the standard stuff here. Oh, the spanner seems to make us go faster. I don't know if there's anything we're not supposed to particularly run over. Just avoid that. Is that a dog peeing on the lawn or something then? Very strange. The music's very random. I don't think. I mean, it's pre-programmed, I guess, because it's looping, but it's not going to win any awards. So let's put it that way. I'll go. Oh, it's tracking me. Ah. Well, I mean, it's not bad. It's not bad. I think you could maybe have some fun with it. So we'll play this till 1/2 and then we'll move on to one of the other ones, I think. I've got to kind of drag out these ones with multiple card systems because I haven't really got anything else to play. The other games aren't going to take very long, so... Memory test. Oh god, that's not going to go well for me. X-Racing. Dada. Live in action. Let's try Dada. There's a penguin and there's a thing. I don't know what it. I don't even know what I'm controlling. This is a bit weird. It's a very strange thing. So what am I supposed to do? Okay, so I'm collecting these butterflies or something. I got no idea. I seem to have some kind of attack, but it didn't seem to do any good when I tried to defend myself. Have we tried not cracking? Let's give it a go. Yeah, I keep pressing the wrong button. I keep trying to start the game with the large buttons. Save the princess. So I think this was, is that like a little soldier? Is it a nutcracker sweep thing? I mean, that's surprisingly a large amount of sense for these, to be honest. The titles tend to feel very random. Yeah, beat him up, beat him up. Oh, I just got killed by one that appeared right in front of me. Well, I mean, my general feeling on this system at the moment is, as I say, is that there's a lot of very small games in here, and none of them are abysmally bad. It's not the Action 52 where they crash as soon as... But the ones I've played so far are sort of middling to low. Some of them are a bit iffy, and some of them you kind of feel, well, there's some good potential here, but it's not initially amazing. But I think all of them, as I say, all of them are okay. Struggling to actually see my bullets on this one. Oh, I just need to get to that there, do I? Quite dull, really. Apple chess, frantic fishing, hit mouse, hit mouse. I got this image of Hitman, and it's like Mickey Mouse now or something. That'd be quite good. Oh, it's just whack-a-mole with mice. They haven't even bothered to change the graphics. Those are moles. Those aren't mice. Give them a whacking. Am I even hitting them here? Oh, I don't need to press the fire button. I just need to press the down. Messing up my mute button again there. It's not good. Okay. I don't know what that wiggly thing is. This kind of green alien thing kind of keeps popping up. What is it? I don't know what it's supposed to be. Is it a worm? Well, the art's quite cute, and the game's perfectly playable, but I'm not really feeling a whole lot of challenge at this point. Am I supposed to be hitting a certain colour and missing another certain colour or something? What's going on? I've no idea what I'm doing. So we just get points for hitting all of them, and it's not very hard. I mean, could I just like wiggle the stick around like this and just get them all every time? I don't know. Looks nice. Wasn't feeling the challenge really. bullet tower. Oh, I've pressed the wrong button again. Start. Oh, it's some Towers of Hanoi, isn't it? Okay. Oh. Am I playing? I want to play. Okay, I've got to select my difficulty down here. And it's doing a little mouse cursor. That's weird. I don't know why. I did a long time ago write a Towers of Hanoi game in QBasic. I can't really remember how to play it though. I mean, I remember the basic rule, but that's about it. No sound. Can't hear any, but I mean it's enjoyable. 266 bitter is a good one on mine. Okay, let's see if we can find it. Let's hunt it down. It's got to be worth trying. 266 bitter. They don't seem to be in any kind of alphabetical order. Hexapod New and Hexapod War. There's like there's a sequel. They've got like their own chain of different games, maybe, or something. I can't see 266 War. I think I went through all of them. 266 bitter, sorry. Oh, sorry, I misread. You've got a 300 in one. You're teasing me with stuff I haven't got. Ah, that's not nice. That's not nice at all. How many's on this because I've got this alternative one, but this is only 156. I can't show it in frame here. This is 156 in one, so it's not going to be on there. Yeah. Can't you tell me what the good one is on the one I've got? That'd be far better. This one's 16-bit though, so we're obviously upgrading to the SNES with this one, I guess. That'll be something exciting. So, please, Doug Lassie, crystal ball. Let's try that. Now, the question is, do we think it's going to be a fortune-telling game, or is it just going to be some twaddle with like bouncing a ball around or some nonsense? Let's try it anyway. Let's see what it is. Pindable. Is that pinball? I'm seeing it and I'm not sure what I'm seeing. Okay, so we've just got to avoid all of this. And we've got to collect these balls and avoid those things flying around. The scrolling's quite nice, I guess. You know, again, it's nothing wrong with it. Music's very simple, but the gameplay's okay. None of these have been too bad. As I say, I keep comparing to Action 52, in which a lot of the games simply didn't work. They were either buggy or just the same game with very slight tweaks, whereas these are all independent games in their own right. Whether they're I don't think any of them are exact legends of game playing history, but I mean, honestly, some of them are about as good as a lot of the MSX games I've played. You know, the early MSX games, I mean, not the more recent ones, but so these aren't bad. Oh, okay. Oh, that's quite clever. I like that. This one's got some nice design to it. The music's a bit repetitive, but we can... Oh, no! We can let it off that. It's so these guys are just bouncing around, but then we can flip those walls and then they'll bounce around in different locations. That said, what's my actual target to achieve in all of this? Because if these just keep respawning and those are what I'm supposed to be collecting, do I actually need to move around at all? See, I've kind of trapped those in their own little loop there. You got this PacMan guy here. He's just wandering aimlessly around, and now the exit's opened up. It's difficult to judge if this is any good or not when when I can't work out what the rules are. You know, I don't know if you need to kind of move to all those different sections or not. Oh, not bad then. Rabbit Village, Seaport Growl. Space Base, Human, Spring World. Oh, maybe that's amusing. Let's give it a go. Music sounds very similar. Hang on a minute, is that the same graphic as the last one? The main character? This is feeling a bit dubious. It feels a little bit like this one is the same as the last one with a slight tweak. You've got the same horizontal moving, the same objects bouncing around the screen. I think that's the first one I've seen that feels very much like a clone of a different one though. Just coincidentally that I selected them both after each other. Apple chess. Let's see if it's really chess and if it involves apples or not. That's not chess. That looks more like that looks like Go. Yeah, this is Go. Or is it reverse eye? I get Go and reverse eye mixed up sometimes. This is reverse eye, isn't it? No, we'll give it a go. No music and no sound at all, really. Quite disappointing. Oh. I'm not doing very well, I'll be honest. Gameplay's quite slow. I don't know why. I don't know if they think that's impressive animation or something. It doesn't really feel it. Seawolf on the C64. Was there a game called Seawolf? I didn't notice. Why is this called Apple Chess would be the question. I don't see Steve Jobs anywhere. It's not like we got Steve Jobs as the king and Wozniak as the queen or anything. I thought maybe it was going to be like Battle Chess with apples or something, but I guess I was being over optimistic. Come on. The question is, am I about to be outwitted by this tiny little LCD little game? I have a nasty suspicion the answer could be yes. It doesn't take a lot to outwit me at these kind of games, to be honest. Where can I... Oh, I can put one here. Yeah, it is starting to outwit me already. Now, I want to try and take this corner, so let's avoid placing one over there just yet. Could do with some music. The game... Oh no! Oh, the humility. The gameplay is perfectly acceptable, but it just doesn't have any background music, which, considering how unanimated the gameplay is, it's not like they were going to be running out of processing power, is it? So I'm not quite sure what the justification for that would be. Anyway. And my phone has started talking to itself again for reasons that aren't quite clear. Never mind. The hardware does seem to like rebelling. The keyboard's not talking to OBS, and my mobile phone is managing to output through both of its headphones and its internal speaker at the same time somehow. And the little game machines are doing okay though, fortunately. My gameplay isn't doing so good, but never mind. Can't do anything about that. I think I should be able to now take this corner. That will be a good position for me. Well, it's not very exciting to look at, I know, but as I said, I'm quite enjoying this one. The gameplay is solid, even if the music's non-existent. But the old computer doesn't seem to be doing particularly well here. Usually, I was playing the same game. This is Versailles, as I say. I was playing this on the NES the other week, and I wasn't playing very well then. So I thought maybe I would have a repeat performance today of not playing very well. But at the moment, I seem to be doing pretty well here. The only problem is, it's quite. I'm sure it's quite boring to listen to, and I can't think of anything particular. There's nothing particularly exciting happening to talk about. I've taken 2 of the corners here, so I'm currently looking like I'm beating it quite soundly, but maybe it'll manage to catch me up. There's still 2 corners left that it could take. I'm going to have to keep playing this to the end of the round. It's so rare I actually win one of these. Can't turn down my one opportunity in life to shine at something. So let's keep going. I need to make sure I get this corner down here next as well. So I've got to just be careful. If I take that, I'll wipe him out of the corners. Really, what I want is for him to take that one there, don't I? Although I think at the moment I'm winning quite soundly here. Now, need a fast forward button. He's blown it. I can take this corner as well now. So I got 3 of the corners. So I don't think there's any possible way he could win this from me now. We got him. It's surprising. Usually I'm so dumb at these things, I always get beaten by them, at least on the first go. I get practice, I get better, but I usually don't do so well. So Yeah, I don't know. This, I'd say this was about, it was about, well, it was about $50, I guess. I mean, I guess that's kind of expensive for the standard of the games. I think the machine, the hardware is very good. It's just, you know, I say if you gave this, I think if you gave this to a kid to play with, they'd probably get a few hours or a couple of days entertainment out of it just on the sheer volume of games and the fact that none of them are terrible. But without knowing if any of them are legitimately good, I can't comment if it's worth the $50. I say they're certainly they're mildly amusing at the very least. So if I just let's see this through to the bitter end. There's not many squares left now. I think I'm going to beat the computer here. So I want to goad him into putting a blue one here, don't I, really? So let's put that there. Oh! He's given up. Oh, well, I won that one. Okay. Right, well, at that point, we'll call it a day for this one, I think. So, good variety of games on this. I suspect a few of them are pretty good. Some of them are pretty mediocre, but I didn't see anything that was in the category of unplayable. You know, they all felt like they were decent, they were legitimate games, or even though they weren't, you know, A-list titles of any kind in anyone's catalogue. But I say not unpleasant. So let's put this back together here. Just get this out of the way for now. I'll put the box back together later. Manual for Mini Bubble Bobble, which is lying around still for some reason. And we will now try the other MyArcade. We're going to try this DigDug here. So let's try and carefully cut this one open. I don't want to damage the packaging. This will be another one that, as I say, 2 of them will be given away very soon, and then another 2 will be given away at some point in the future. Oh, this one actually wasn't sealed up. Okay. There we go. So, one thing that I will definitely say in the favour of these very small ones is the shape of them is more accurate. Now the Bubble Bobble one, to my knowledge, it isn't that's far too stumpy, isn't it? It should be taller and thinner like that. So the shape does feel a little bit more authentic of these very small ones, but the controller is obviously tiny. So I think it'd be far more suited to a young child with smaller hands than me, and possibly better eyesight. Just put the batteries in. Just trying to make some vague attempt to do it on camera here. A very vague attempt. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing here. It's not going well. This one's not a 16-bit beast. The other one is a 16-bit beast, Mike. This one, again, is, I think, an 8-bitness. This one is claiming to have the full... Where is it? This one is claiming to be the full 16 bits. So we will assess if those bits are put to good use or not. But the track mode doesn't last long enough. It should go for a good few minutes. Because I can imagine these would look really great if you had like a dozen of them all on a shelf, all in one go, and they were all playing at the same time. But if the track mode only lasts 7 seconds, it feels a bit like, well, you couldn't really do that with these, which would be a shame. Am I actually playing? Is this... no, I don't think I was. The screen is tiny. I'm looking at this through the camera because the screen is so small. Now, that's not to say that you couldn't play it without the camera, but for having it in good frame, it's easier for me to play on the camera than to move my head closer to the object, as Red Dwarf would say. Oh no, I messed that up. I do like this though. This is illuminated, obviously. This. If we turn the light off and see what happens here. The camera's in focus at the moment, so yeah, it does look quite good in the dark. The Bubble Bobble didn't have any kind of illumination. Oh, he went away. This is a bit harder to play. Excuse me. This is a bit harder to play on the small screen, to be honest. The PacMan, because the screen was very, very simple with regards to everything's black and there's some tiny dots and things, you could make everything out quite easily. Whereas this one, I'm struggling just a little bit more because the background's so detailed. Again, the resolution's not bad, but the pixelation does become noticeable before the screen. Oh, I didn't think that was going to happen. Because the pixelation does become noticeable before the sprites look big, if you see what I mean. But it's not unpleasant to say closer up. Again, as I say, I don't think you would whereas the Bubble Bobble, and you could quite comfortably play that for significant periods, whereas this one I think is, as I say, either for a small child or just as a very cute novelty to show to people, and they play it for 7 seconds and go, oh, that's quite funny. But yeah, so it does look nice. I really do like that illuminated display here, and the cabinets. Turn the light back on. And the cabinets do look really nice. It's got all the art here. As I say, the Bubble Bobble one did as well. Get them to compare. So, as you can see, the Bubble Bobble one's so big. So the size comparison's a bit crazy. So yeah, as I say, this one's twice the size, and the screen is 3 times the size. And look at the tiny little knobble of a button there compared to this stick. And as I said before, this stick is actually removable, so you can use it as a regular D-pad if that's how you prefer to play. Although I think that'd be a shame because the stick is very nice. But I just don't know why it goes to sleep so fast. And I also don't know why it's got a key ring. I mean, no one's going to carry that on their keychain. It'd be ruined if you did anyway. Move that out of the way. Let's see if we can work out a better camera angle so I can actually see what I'm playing here. It's not actually helping. Oh, I'm not even playing it, am I? be honest, the image looks as good on the camera screen as it does in real life. So let's just put it down there and we'll zoom in on it. I think that's going to be better. To reach around the camera here a little bit. It's a bit uncomfortable doing this. I don't know how these people do this thing of, you know, playing these kind of games on camera. I am going to have to look at various options because I've got other systems I want to play that there's no way I can do to do video capture on, like the well, the Virtual Boy is one in particular, but also the Nintendo DS and things. If I wanted to play DS games on stream. I'm going to have to work out some kind of fixed camera position and a fixed game device so that you can comfortably see what I'm playing and things. I'm not sure how that would be possible, but it's something I would like to try and work out. Yeah, burst that. How did he get me? Well, it's I say it's very cute. It's not as easy to play this as the PacMan because of the small screen. I've got DigDug for the NES. I mean, obviously we're suspicious that this is a NES port. Although actually the aspect ratio is wrong, isn't it? Because this is portrait. The screen is visibly portrait for this, so. So maybe this one isn't a NES port. It's an interesting thought. I hadn't thought of that. I didn't plan that through. I should have gone for the one further down, shouldn't I? I quite like DigDug 2. I've never really played this one very much. DigDug 2 is the one where you're chopping up the island. I did play it on stream before. It's quite funny. But I say it's not to say I've got anything against this one. It's just it was never a game I owned or played as a child, so I've only ever had the quickest go at it more recently, so I'm not very good at it. That's very cute now. Again, as I say, there's absolutely nothing wrong with these. Turn that off. Let's take the batteries out. This tiny little screw in the back to stop kids eating the batteries. The Bubble Bobble one, as I said before, does have a USB battery, a USB power in. This one has to be run off batteries though, so not quite as many options there. I have no idea how long the batteries last though. Judging by how fast it goes to sleep, probably quite a while, I suspect. So that's quite nice. So now we're going to try Galaxian. Now, I'm not actually sure I've ever played Galaxian, to be honest. Might have it for the NES, I can't remember. It's one. I always remember the game The Galactic Plague on the Amstrad CPC, which I suspect is a rip-off of this. But Galaxian itself, as I say, I've never played it really. Maybe I've had a quick go on it. Maybe I have got the NES cartridge and I've just never paid any attention to it. It's perfectly possible. So, obviously this one's exactly the same as that one really. So at least I'll know how to start the game this time, because last time I had trouble figuring out where the power button was, which made gameplay slightly difficult. They're even designing the manuals to match the art, because the other one was all in yellow. It's quite nice. rapidly boxing myself in here. I've got all this set up here, blocking the way. I've got the camera here with all the wires dangling around. There's lights all over the place. Certainly won't be able to leave at all, which would be a shame. I did have a bit of an emergency before the stream started, because I've got all the lights set up around here, and then it started raining and I had to go out through out to the balcony, which is that way, and there's a massive great light with a bunch of cables plugged into it, and it's like I'm trying to negotiate that after setting the position up perfectly to light the room, and having to try and dodge it and get the washing before it all got soggy. No dry clothes to wear, which wouldn't be good. Miraculously, it stopped raining though, because usually when it starts raining in Japan, it doesn't stop, and it rains hard for weeks, almost. Feels like weeks sometimes, but as I say, this time it did seem to be a very quick one, which was common in the UK, but in Japan, when it starts raining heavily in Japan, you don't know whether that's going to be the way it's going to be for a few hours or the way it's going to be for a few days. So as I say, I was like, well, I'm going to need that laundry sooner or later, so I didn't want to get in soggy. I've made the mistake of thinking it will be okay before and regretted it. We've got this nice sticker here to show the game, which is unnecessarily difficult to peel off for some reason. Come on, off you come. We'll stick that on the manual. Okay. Okay. Is it summer here? Well, it's winter. It's not cold. It never snows over here. If the snow falls, it doesn't stick. It doesn't like build up. But I mean, it's difficult because winter in Japan used to feel pretty. This time of year used to feel pretty warm to me. But I'm getting rapidly used to Japan, so I'm starting to struggle more these days. You know, the first year I was here, I was dying in the summer and feeling fine in the winter, and now I'm feeling fine in the summer and dying in the winter almost. So say it's you get used to it, but I mean it never gets cold, but you do need heaters and blankets and things. But as I say, the rain is vicious. In the UK, I never used to carry an umbrella with me because if it rained, you got a little bit wet, but it stopped soon. In Japan, you can't. I never go out without an umbrella, even if no matter what it looks like, because it can suddenly change. And as I say, you can just see crazy rain, and it can go on for hours. You can't wait out the rain in Japan because it could go on for a day. So that's something I learned very quickly the first time I came out here on holiday. So I always carry an umbrella, and sometimes when the typhoon season starts, you can't even use an umbrella because it'll just blow immediately inside out. So then you just have to get wet, very wet as well. A couple of weeks ago, during a moderate typhoon kind of thing, there was I thought I could get through it because it didn't feel that bad, and then my umbrella blew inside out, and even though I was only a few minutes away from home, within a minute I was completely soaked through. My clothes were just completely drenched, everything in my bag was completely drenched, and I was only out in the rain for a minute or two, and that's what it's like when the rain gets bad in Japan. So that was especially bad, but yeah, the rain is terrible over here. I mean, that's why they've got all the water for the rice fields, I guess. But as I say, it's a bit of a shock to an Englishman who, we're used to a bit of drizzle, and that's about it. But it depends what you like. The hot weather. If you want to get a suntan, then the summer's going to be really nice for you. But if you're not good in the heat, then you're going to hate it. But I don't know. As I say, you get used to it though. I do one other thing you do tend to get is I do tend to have strange problems with allergies over here. The first year I had like crazy itchiness for no apparent reason, and people were claiming it was like dust in the wind or something from. I mean, I had one person claim it was from China. I'm not actually sure I believe that, but it was a real thing. I had like weird rashes that I'd never had before, and then that's cleared up. But now I tend to have like hay fever symptoms, even though I've never usually had hay fever. So, and as I say, the first year I was boiling hot all year, and now I tend to get freezing cold all year, and the things that your sort of metabolism seems to struggle with do seem to change over time in Japan. So the things you hate one year, maybe you'll love the next, kind of thing. I don't know. It's a bit weird. But, I can't say if I've played this before. Now, what I will say though is this is nothing like the Galactic Plague. So this is very much like the Phoenix type of game, isn't it? And I'm playing very, very badly, which I do apologise for. Me playing badly is kind of a staple though, because of the fact that I never play any games anymore. Go away! So yeah, this is this feels like. I'm just going to get closer and have a look at the display. The graphics, again, the graphics feel very good. I don't think it's been scaled down. I can't comment on the aspect ratio. The Bubble Bobble I felt has been slightly stretched. Maybe this is as well. The screen doesn't look any different, so I'm guessing it's the same screen. But the image quality looks good. It's very loud. I hope you can actually hear me talking over this. So I just noticed we've only got one button on this one, whereas the other one we had two. So the hardware design is slightly different. Apart from that, it all looks the same though. You know, the thumbstick's the same, the button size is the same. We both have got this reset and the start button thing. And we've got the lights at the bottom again. I can't turn this one on because I've taken the batteries out. The actual cabinet design is pretty similar. We've got Galaxian written here, Bubble Bobble. The top's just black here, and this one that's actually got an extra sticker there. Although, I think that might actually be just a black sticker, which seems a bit of a waste. We've got this lovely art on the side. I don't know where they've got this from. I don't know whether it was on the original arcade machines. I mean, if it is, they must have changed it, because as I say, the proportions of this machine have got to be very different from an original arcade machine, but they do look very nice anyway. So I say, I think they'll look. I mean, I was sort of imagining getting like half a dozen of them, and the shape is actually slightly different up here, and getting them all in a line and having them all powered up as maybe a bit of a display in the background when I'm playing, when I'm recording other videos and things, but. They said actually the tops don't quite match. I don't know what the original arcade machines look like. I mean, honestly, I've never seen either of these in a real arcade, so it's nostalgia for things I've never owned, I guess, is the fact of it, which is a bit of a baffling idea, I know. But I mean, Bubble Bobble, I knew someone who had a C64 and they used to play it on the C64, so that was. That's where I came across that game first of all. Galaxian, no experience of. My button's mixed up there on the old mute, sorry about that. Oh, this looks very pleasant. So anyway, if you've only just caught the middle of this stream, I'll just explain what I'm planning for the Christmas period. I'm going to be going on Christmas vacation at the end of next week, and I'll be on holiday for 2 weeks. And what I'm planning on doing is I'm going to be doing 2 live streams a week as usual. So that's the 5 AM stream on the Fridays, which is Thursday evening in the UK, and also this stream every Saturday. But in addition, I'm going to be doing a midweek stream, which is midday on Wednesday in Japan time, which will be early evening in the US, I think. Not quite sure what time that is in the UK, but I'll be playing MS-DOS, and we're going to be playing June, the original adventure game type one. So if that sounds interesting to you, please join me for that. And I'll do the best I can to get my cold to get better by then, but it doesn't seem to be listening to me. I'm not impressed by this cold at all. It's real bother for me, because, you know, I've been recording videos, tutorial videos this morning, and you keep having to record bits and edit out coughing, which is adding a lot of extra work, really. Not to mention the pain it's causing for this stream, but unfortunately, I'm not sure what to do about it. I was thinking it was getting better this morning, but recording the videos early today, I couldn't help noticing the longer the videos went on, the more I was coughing during them. I think talking is making it worse. But I've never been one to keep my mouth shut, so maybe that's what's caused it. Anyway. Go away! For a moment there, I was kind of thinking I should have a shield like in Phoenix. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know why I would think that would be there. Go away. No. Oh, the humility. Well, the game's very good. I'm just quite terrible at it, so I can't really criticise the hardware for my poor performance. Unfortunately, they don't have a super easy difficulty switch on it. Oh dear, I'm dying. I'm going to die on live stream. That'd be pretty poor. Okay, so let's have one more go, and then we'll try the final amazing 16-bit game. We're up to 8 o'clock. I would like to run this stream till 10, but we'll see how it goes. My coughing gets any worse, I might have to abandon it for medical reasons. But as I say, I mean, if the games are amazing on the next one, then I'd certainly like to do the 10 o'clock. But I don't have any emergency games to play, and I don't want to be spending half an hour setting up a Super Nintendo because I've run out of retro games. Sorry about this cough. Really am. I'm gonna have to maybe get text to speech or something so that I can keep talking when I can't speak anymore. Or maybe I can just get some cough syrup, whichever's easiest. It's always a pain trying to get medication in Japan. Because yeah, you're stuck with the choice of either sitting there staring at the bottles for 14 hours trying to work out which one does what, because they always put everything in weird places and the box art doesn't give you any clues usually. So you'll spend like 45 minutes staring at a suppository trying to work out if it's cough syrup or not. And then you'll finally, and then the alternative is you go and ask the guy at the counter and you just feel like a complete idiot, which I don't like doing. So, yeah, if I've had the medicine once before, then you can just go and find the same packet, or if they've changed the packet, the same medicine. But as I say, it's quite a pain. I don't like doing it. I don't like asking. I would rather try and read the packets, being as I've spent all this time learning Japanese. But you know, even things like finding. I tried to find antiseptic cream for like. I tried to find Germaline. I don't know if you know antiseptic cream for cuts you use on plasters. Couldn't do it. I looked around, couldn't find it. I found the sticking plasters, couldn't find anything that looked like the right product. And I went and asked the guy behind the counter and said, you know, I want antiseptic cream and for sticking plasters, and they looked at me blankly and didn't have a clue. Do translate apps help? I don't know. They might. I won't use them. I have too much pride in my years spent trying to learn Japanese. So if it's a choice of dying of a cough or using the Translate app, I am quite willing to die of the cough. I'm not going to lie. I've searched things up and shown them on mobile phones before now, but I imported a bunch of Germaline when I came to the UK last time. I bought like a bunch of tubes of it back. And the other thing is, you can in a bind you can use skin lotion. I have found that. I mean, a lot of time it's just translation stuff that's the trouble. You know, you can't find. You try and explain it to Japanese people, and they look blankly at you and say, "No, that doesn't exist," and then it turns out it did exist all along, and they just completely. I mean, like, I asked about medicated shampoo for like the Head and Shoulders stuff, and I was told, "No, there's nothing like that," and then promptly found it myself, and it's like, "Well, there's loads of it. What are you talking about?" But somewhere the translation was getting lost here, and again, I'm pretty sure. I'm pretty sure Japanese people get cuts, and I'm pretty sure they need some kind of antiseptic cream when they get them, but I don't know what they use. I never found it. Just spray myself with alcohol spray and suffer the pain, I guess. There's always that option. But anyway, it's just one of the perils of living in a foreign country where you don't speak the language at native level, I think. But, there's worse things. I don't know if Amazon. I've never looked. I don't know if Amazon Japan sell medication. They sell things like sticking plasters certainly, but I don't know. I don't know. I'm guessing they probably don't have the rights because in Japan, well, there's different levels of medication. I mean, you get the full-blown pharmacies where you go with your prescription, and then you get the stuff that you can buy over the counter. So, I mean, maybe they can sell some stuff. I mean, they sell they could probably sell sticking plasters. So maybe they could sell antiseptic cream as well. Yeah, I got there. Imagine, they just turned up. They just respawned again. Is anything else happening? Did the waves change? Hi there, Jesus. It's very kind of you to join me. We've done most of the machines now. We're playing Galaxian. We've played Little Bubble Bobble. They're basically the same unit. We've played Miniature DigDug and PacMan, which were very small but very capable. And we played Retro Machine 200, and I've coughed a lot. And Retro Machine 200, we're pretty sure is a NES with a bunch of weird Chinese games on them. There's no Super Mario or Street Fighter on there, but as I say, not bad, slightly quirky. As I said earlier, we're going to be giving away, I think we're going to be giving away Retro Machine here, and we're going to be giving away, we'll say Pac-Man. I'm going to give away Retro Machine and Pac-Man in a competition on my website, and then the other one, DigDug, and the one we've not played yet, I'm going to give away at a future date after the first competition, just to spread them out, because the cost of shipping them does sort of build up, so I want to spread my competitions out a bit, not give too much away in one go. So I want to have. I'm planning. My intention is to have a competition every 3 months on my website. So have a constantly rolling competition with some kind of prize, either little retro toys like this or T-shirts, something small that I can ship easily internationally. It's assuming I don't die of coughing fits first. But yeah, they're all very nice. As I said, the games on this one were weird, and some of them were a bit iffy, but there was 200 of them, and offered a fair amount of entertainment for the money. So this was $50. Ironically, this was more expensive than either of those. Those two together were slightly more than this though. So yeah. Okay, well, let's move on to the last one now. And we've got all kinds of design on the back here. So there was multiple designs here, and I can't remember which one this is. Maybe it's that one. So let's cut it. Let's cut the seal open and let's have a go at it. And just, I think probably everyone watching knows. I'll just spam my Discord there. Just in case anyone's watching is not on the Discord. Is Retro big in Japan? Oh, sorry. Sorry, I tried to mute it, and this rotten mini keyboard thing doesn't work unless when OBS Studios got focus. Oh, okay. So that's interesting. This one's got it. Oh shit! It's got its own lithium battery. That means I can't ship it internationally. Is it lithium? I can't ship that. This is the whole problem these days. You can't ship anything. I could ship it without the battery. It probably works off USB without the battery plugged in. There's all these stupid laws about shipping lithium batteries nowadays, and you can't do it. Now, ironically, this came from China, so they've obviously lied and pretended it didn't have a lithium battery in it when it has. But that's another subject. So what do you bet that this is a Super Nintendo? I've got 6 buttons here. So, this looks identical to the last one, which is weird because the last one ran on quadruple A batteries. So, what do we make of that? They got the shape for the quadruple A batteries, but there's no battery snaps, and then they've got this alternate one just here. I will test this, and provided it does work off USB power, we'll still do it as a competition prize in the future. If it doesn't, because I can't ship this back, I can't risk shipping the battery, so it's either got to ship without the battery or it doesn't ship. Oh, hang on a minute. I was trying to set the volume there. Okay, so this is proper dodgy then. We got the full dodginess going on here. This is obviously a Genesis, and we've got official games on here. Sorry, Mike, I never answered your question. Is retro big in Japan? Yes, it is. Most retro stuff's big in Japan. I've got a Laserdisc player I bought in Japan. The retro games machines are big. The only thing I've never seen is Betamax. Betamax isn't a thing over here, really. We've got this. I'll leave that on. I'll leave that on because I say I'm planning to give this away. There's a little sticker on here, so there's the diagonal line you might be able to see. I'm pressing the volume button, but it's actually acting as a start button. I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Maybe they've wired it up wrong. Well, yeah, as I say, this is clearly a Genesis. So let's reset it. And can we get the volume down? It's far too loud. It's far too loud for me anyway. Can't get the volume to change. I don't know what's going. I don't know if the button's faulty or something. It's very annoying. It feels too loud to me. So we've got Super Street Fighter 2, Streets of Rage, X-Men, Tiny Toons, Ninja Turtles, Strider, Smurfs, Sonic 3D. I mean, I've never even played a lot of these on the Genesis. Fun Car Rally, that seems a bit random. Echo the Dolphin, Dream Team USA, Desert Strike. I mean, it's obviously the far better machine than the other one. Let's compare it to the other one. And it's even come with a video out cable. Ironically, the exact same one that I'm using on this camera today. So we could plug that in. So how do they look next to each other? So they're the same height, but the top unit's different, and this one's got an illuminated top, whereas this one doesn't. Was it? I can't remember if it was or not. Maybe it was. Maybe it was illuminated actually. Strangely enough, the backs are very similar, but they've changed the design. So I don't know quite why they've. I'm just going to hold my hand over the back because it's quite loud, and as I say, I can't get the volume to change for some reason. Monopoly the arcade game. Oh, Gunstar Heroes, that's a fairly famous one. I was thinking of buying that actually, so let's try that one. Let's give Gunstar Heroes a go and see if it's worth me buying it for the real machine. It's not bad. I don't know how it sounds to you, but it's not uncomfortably loud to me, but I would have preferred it to be a volume level down. But when I press the volume button, it seems to start the game like maybe it's wired up wrong, or maybe the label's wrong. I don't know what's going on there. I mean, the three buttons at the top are the same as on this one, and it's just like it doesn't seem to do what it says it's going to do, and I'm just wondering whether maybe it's like being used as a select button or something. Now, I don't know if you can see on here, these are flickering very fast, and what I think that's intentional. I think that's a sort of pseudo transparency effect on the Genesis, and so for that to work correctly implies that this is a fairly decent emulator or maybe a system on chip kind of thing. But the graphics look very good. I'm just trying to work out what to make of the controls. Yes, it is, and I can't make it quieter. I mean, when I press the volume button, what's marked as the volume button here, it just pauses the game. And then when I press the button that's marked start, it unpauses the game. Hang on a minute. Let's have a look at the manual. Maybe there's some. I thought maybe you had to hold down volume and then press up and down or something, but it didn't do anything. The manual here says reset and start, and there's nothing marked on that third button. I don't think that third button does anything. turn the volume control at the volume button of the unit to increase, decrease the volume. I don't know. Well, I've pressed it. I mean, there's no dial anywhere. Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. There's a dial on the side. There's a physical dial. This one didn't have one. This one, the button did it. So they've marked the button as volume, even though it apparently is just a select or a start button. And then there's a sorry. And then there's a physical volume button on the side that actually does the job. So so this one didn't have a USB charge port, but this one does. And as I say, I'm just wondering whether this will work without the lithium battery. So I'm not, unfortunately, I can't ship it with a. If it requires the lithium battery to play, I can't ship it. So depending on that will depend whether it's going to be used as a prize in the future, unfortunately. So now I've got the hang of the volume button concept. Let's try and play it without deafening myself. The gameplay looks superb. I mean, say that there's no sign of visual. Oh, go away. I don't know how to play this game. Oh, okay, so I just hold down the button. I'm not sure if I could see some vase light interlacing there, but if there was, it was I couldn't really notice it. Ironically, the video is better, I'd say, than the Bubble Bobble one, which we saw some screen tearing on, and we believe that's the licensed Bubble Bobble, of course, and we believe that was a NES emulator. So whether this is software or hard, whether this is an FPGA option or whether it's a sort of emulator, I don't know, but whatever it's doing a good job of it. This feels very smooth. What am I supposed to do to this thing? Am I killing it? Oh, there we go, it's exploded. Yes, it could be killed. I couldn't remember what the controls were on the on the 6-button machines, but I certainly would be logical. I just don't understand why they've marked it volume and not left it unmarked or something when it doesn't do volume. There were 6 different editions of this, but my understanding was that they were all the exact same machine, just with different sort of cabinet art. So I could understand if there were 3 different versions and they had 3 different pieces of hardware inside them, but but the physical cabinet, despite both having the 3 buttons on the front, the physical cabinets are even different heights. And as I said, this one doesn't have the volume button dial on the side, and this one does. So they're clearly completely different hardware. So why it would be incorrectly marked as volume seems a bit odd. How much was it? Well, just to recap, these were around $15 to $20, just depending on the model. These are around $30 each, and I think this one was about $50. This one was about $50, something like that, and this one was around $60. I'm very crude. I might be overestimating the prices there very slightly. This one came from. I mean, I thought it came from China, but it actually had a sticker on it saying Manchester, so maybe it came from the UK or something weird. But this was definitely the most expensive. This one. These two were both roughly the same price. If you shopped around, you could get the Galaxian and the Bubble Bobble. If you shopped around, you could get them cheaper. And then these ones with the key rings on them were the cheapest, because of obviously the size. Now, if I was going to review these, I would say this being a complete genesis, shameless rip. This is the best. Especially now I found the volume control. Might have thought otherwise. The screen looks great. The frame rate is huge on it. 6 buttons. The buttons feel a decent size. Can't fault it. This Well, compared to this, no. But as I said before, if you had like a kid that you needed to entertain for 2 days, 200 weird games is a pretty decent appeal. It looks nice on the shelf as well. So as I say, if you're just looking for something with some weird curiosity factor, that's pretty good. These were cheaper, and they look excellent, but 1 game each. And as I say, they're essentially a NES emulator. So I'm just trying to think whether I'd recommend them or not. I'd say for me, I wanted this because it's Bubble Bobble and it looks great on the shelf. So for that, can't fault it. Build quality is much better. Nice little joystick. I suppose it would depend if you really love the game. For me, like Galaxian, I got no history with it. I don't get particularly excited by it. So I'd probably go for the curiosity factor of that over the, well, it's Galaxian, but I'm not really interested in it of that. So, as I say, Bubble Bobble worth the money, Galaxian not so much. This worth the money if you want weird stuff. I say the Bubble Bobble's great for me because I like Bubble Bobble, but with Galaxian it's like, well, I'd almost prefer the 200 in 1 just because of, well, the fascination factor of all these weird games. These... They're playable. The screens are a little bit blurry on them because of the size. That's forgivable. The thumbsticks are surprisingly comfortable despite how tiny they are. Now, the only thing I'd say is I was playing them through the camera because they were too small to play at this distance, and if I got my head closer, then I'd have got in the way of the camera. But if you get closer to the camera, you do start to notice the pixelation of the screen. So the screens could be better, but for $15... you can't complain too much. I mean, the one thing I would say is it really depends what you're trying to do with them. If you want to play... Now, I don't have it, but... just get this PacMan back. Comparing this mini PacMan, there is a PacMan edition of this. So what I'd probably say is if you're just looking for something for a little bit of a curiosity to show people and have them like have a very quick go on it and go, oh, that's cute, or have them on your shelf in a row looking nice, if you wanted the large number of them, then these are probably better. But if you want to seriously play it, then the PacMan version of these bigger ones would be the better one. So yeah, I mean, I think the as I say, I think which one you would want to buy would depend on what exactly you were after. Cheap bit of nonsense, get these because these are tiny and they're a bit of fun. Fanatic of the game, like my Bubble Bobble, buy this. And random amusement, buy this. Best games and large variety, definitely this. I mean, this is the best of them for the all round. The only thing I'd say is this is a bit cheeky because you ain't got the license for this stuff. This one's playing by the rules because, you know, the games are all licensed because they're all weird Chinese originals, I guess. And of course, these little key rings, and these are licensed, officially licensed as well. So it's only this one that's being a bit of a cheeky no-no. But you know, if we don't mind being a bit naughty, then, you know, as I say, this is going to have this is going to have by far the best entertainment value because 150 Genesis games versus 200 weird unheard of NES games, even if they were mostly respectable unheard of NES games, you know, they weren't, as I said before, they weren't the Action 52 shovelware. They were the, well, you know, there's been some effort put into these, but they're not spectacular kind of territory. But you're never going to compete with commercial Genesis games, are you? Let's be honest. Let's reset and let's see what the most technically challenging game on here is. what I'm wondering is, does the system have a problem with a very, very high performance or something? So let's just see what the toughest one is going to be graphically. If anyone's the Neo Geo Mini, now for me that's too big. They do sell a variety of clone ones of that are like this kind of thing, running God knows what, but those are more like this size, aren't this kind of size, and for me, putting it on my shelf, I don't have room to make any. As I say, my idea was to get maybe 3 or 4 of these and put them in a nice line and then power them all up, and they'd look like a nice cute background of like a miniature arcade. And so the Neo Geo Mini wouldn't work for that because it's only one unit, and it's also essentially chopping this part off, which doesn't have the same visual appeal for me. And then the other thing was, for prizes, shipping something like this is going to cost me next to nothing. You know, this is costing about $10 probably to ship internationally, apart from the battery problem. Whereas the Neo Geo Mini, it's huge, so it wouldn't have made such a good prize. And with the exception of this one and this one, it was the plan to give it away as a prize. That was the reason for buying it. So as I say, those would possibly be better for some circumstances, but for the idea of what I was trying to do, of the visual appeal of looking like a shrunk down arcade machine, and also for being a decent prize, it wouldn't have worked. I've not played the Neo Geo Mini. I kind of, the impression I've got is maybe people are a little bit disappointed in it. But the only thing I'd say is there are a bunch of clone ones that look almost identical that are probably running, you know, who knows what arcade machines, or again running the Genesis. So I'd say the form. I'm not saying the form factor's bad. I'm just saying, you know, this looks cute sitting there on its own, even if it's not switched on. Whereas the Neo Geo just looks like a, well, I don't know what it looks like. It kind of looks a bit like those old games you used to get in the 80s that were quite popular. But if anyone can suggest a Genesis game that's going to really be graphically intensive and push this, then please let me know, because I want to. As I said before, the game Uni Rally on the Super Nintendo just really, or Yoshi's Island 2, they would really grind the emulators down to the ground. But I don't really know what the most intensive game on the Genesis was to know what is going to be the hardest challenge for this machine. Dark Castle, that's that terrible one, isn't it? Barbie Supermodel. And I can't put a game that stupid on here. It's going to make me laugh until I die. Mortal Kombat. Let's give that a go. Mortal Kombat I played on the PC, and my PC was too slow to play it very well. I've never really played on the Genesis, I don't think. So I want to see what it's like. Contra Hardcore. Okay, well, we'll have a look for it. I'm just going to try a little bit of Mortal Kombat first. Vectorman. Sonic's certainly fast, Mike. I just I have this feeling that if it couldn't run Sonic, it wouldn't run anything, kind of thing. I was thinking maybe there was some towards the end of the life of the machine where they were really bending the rules of the hardware, and maybe the emulators would start to struggle a bit more. But the only one I can think of would be sort of Virtual Racing, which actually had hardware upgrades, and I doubt they're going to support that. Well, I mean, that feels okay, but I can't really see any... So let's have a look for this Contra one. Mean Bean Machine. Can't say I've heard of that. I don't know if this is a real game. I'm assuming none of these are. I'm assuming these are all legitimate games and none of them are weird spoofs or anything. Kadash? Woogie Bowling? Cyborg Justice? Sonic Spinball. That was quite a late one, wasn't it? Chakan. All these strange games. Wani Wani World. Wani's crocodile in Japanese, incidentally. So that's Crocodile World, I guess. Dynamite Duke. That's this weird first-person type one. I've got that on the real machine. I can't see this Contra Hardcore. Samurai Shoulder. Terminator. James Bond. Oh, the Amstrad fans will be happy. It's got Dizzy on it. That'll win the Amstrad seal of approval. Streets of Rage 3. Okay. Sonic Eraser. Well, that's nothing to do with Sonic, is it? I didn't see this Contra Hardcores. Was Streets of Rage on here? I didn't see Tekken Special. I didn't see if Street Fighter. I was so busy looking for that other one. I didn't see if Streets of Rage was on here. Oh, Ghostbusters with it's the one where Winston's missing, isn't it? I keep reading that as Wookie Bowling. I don't know why. I don't know why I imagine it should be Wookie Bowling. Gold. I don't see. It's a shame I don't see Moonwalker, because that's the game that I always think of when I think of the Genesis. And the other one, it was on the first. Was it on the first page? And I'm just being completely blind. Hang on a minute. Yes, you're correct. So I completely apologise. I'm completely blown away by the huge list. Another one that I always have been quite fond of on the Genesis is Demolition Man. Now, it actually came out on the SNES as well, but I didn't know about it, and I came across it on the emulators, and that was a really intensive one. That it felt very fast on the Genesis, and I did buy the cartridge. It was quite expensive, but I did buy it because it was, to say, it's one of these ones that I do remember on the Genesis, but unfortunately I didn't see it on here. So let's start this up then. One player. Is the sound supposed to sound like that? Is the audio right? That sounds weird. That sounds like digitized sampling, but it sounds like maybe it's not right. It's way off. I assumed it was, but yeah, I assumed it was way off. Say, not knowing the game. Well, we say we did want to see how. We wanted to push it to its limit, and I think we found its limit. Stage 1, start. Well, the game looks okay. The frame, I'm not seeing any slowdown. I'm sure you're going to tell me the audio's weird again, but it doesn't. I mean, it sounds a bit distorted, but I'm not trying to gouge my own ears out or anything. Yeah, it sounds a bit distorted. It's awful. So I coughed so hard, I pressed the end. I coughed so hard it ended the stream by accident. It's alright. I'm back now. I'm sure the audio is wrong. Well, for someone inexperienced in the game, I would not complain about that. Maybe if you're a Puritan of the game, the audio would become unacceptable to the point of absolute disgust. But for me, it's acceptable. So, what are the ones? Sonic 3. Sonic 3 is different to Sonic 3D, isn't it? Did anyone see Sonic 3 on here? Decap attack, is that replacing the capacitors on something, maybe? Battletoads, that's a very big one on the NES, but I don't think the Genesis version was particularly intensive. Heavy unit, that sounds familiar. I'm not sure if I've played that one before. Hang on a minute, Mario Hockey? Mario Hockey? That doesn't sound right. I can't work out if some of these are legit or not. This is like Barbie supermodel, but it doesn't look like Barbie at all. I don't know. I don't know if they're just like rebranding them or something. Sonic Spinball. Let's try that one. That one might be... Or might be one of the more modern ones. Well, the other thing, as I said before, is this actually comes with a TV out. So I don't know whether you'd want to, but you could presumably plug this into your TV. Hang on a minute. We are reviewing. Hello, Echo. It's very kind of you to join me. Yeah, we're playing with the Wii arcade cabinet via my camera here, but we're about to get controversial, and I'm going to try the TV out of the arcade cabinet plugged directly in to the video capture that I'm currently using for the TV. So I'm just going to have to reach back here a little bit. Just unplug these, and if I plug this in here and this in here, well, that's not quite right, is it? Hang on a minute, let's see if we can that's obviously a PAL NTSC problem, isn't it? Let's see if I can fix that or not. Just trying to work out. Sorry, I got too many configure video here. There we go. So I've changed it to PAL B, and it looks like we're in with a fighting chance here. The connection's a bit iffy, but so I had to reset it, and the screen is now switched off here. But should we wish to, now the thing we're going to have to hope is we've still got some control over the volume here, because now hang on a minute. I'm just going to have to change some settings here. Just bear with me a moment. Sorry, just bear with me a moment. I've just got to change the audio settings on here. Yeah, I was trying to use the audio earlier, but I did have to mute it. That's the wrong one. Okay, here we go. Can you hear that? Hi there, Mike. It's kind of you to join me here. Can we hear the audio? I can't hear anything. I can't hear it. Okay, okay. Let's try starting the game then, and see how this goes. The signal, the connection's a bit iffy. I think they could have done with paying for a better video output on the back, but. Well, I mean, I suppose you could do this. I'm not sure whether you'd want to, but it works. I'll give it credit for doing what it claimed to. Okay, well, I'm gonna unplug that, and I'm gonna. Oh, the audio's come back on to the main one. Let's just get the video back. Now I've got to change my video settings back again, haven't I? Configure video and change this back to NTSC, NTSCJ, and there we go. There we go, everything back to normal. That's a very good question. Let me just. Hang on a minute, let's test all those 6 buttons as you say. That's a very good point. I certainly assume so. The diagonal line here is the screen protector. As I say, I'm hoping to give this away as a prize at some point in the future, so I'm not going to take it off because I don't want to risk it getting damaged during shipping for no good reason. Yes, they do all work. The top 3 are punch, the bottom 3 are kick. They seem to be different. You want me to do Hadouken? The only thing I'm noticing is the little button is the little stick is quite thin in the stem. So if back in my Street Fighter days, I had like an imprint in my thumb from doing the Hadouken so many times, and I think if you did that with this, hang on a minute, is it crashed? Oh dear, it seems to have crashed. It might be the battery's gone flat. I haven't charged this up before doing the stream, so it's possible the battery's gone flat. Hang on a minute. I mean, we have a USB cable here for charging my phone, so let's plug it into that and see what happens. Okay. Yeah, I think it's all right. It's just the battery had gone flat. So let's turn it off. And there's now a LED lit up on that. I can't get it on camera. There's a LED lit up on the side, which is a charging light. Now what I'm going to do now is I'm going to take the battery out and I'm going to try and power it up with no battery in. Because as I said, I'm hoping to give this away as a prize in a few months' time after the first competition, which is going to be for the other machine. But I can't ship the battery because of international shipping laws. You can't ship lithium batteries anymore, which does beg the question, how did it get here from China? But they may be willing to risk getting fined. I am not. So yes, it works without the battery inserted, and I'm guessing that's a conventional mobile phone battery. So what I'll do is I'll give this away as a prize later on without the battery, and if you want to buy a battery for it, then you're welcome to do so. Otherwise you could run it off the USB like this. So anyway, sorry, I didn't realise I was muted. You should have told me. I didn't realise I was muted. Okay, so well, let's try this Mean Bean Machine game here. So anyway, as I said probably when I was muted, this works without the battery inserted. So I can't ship it with the battery installed. So the initial prize is going to be the NES clone one and also the mini PacMan. And then the second one, which will be in around March sort of time, will be the same competition. Just submit something to my forum as a programming entry. And that will be for this one and the DigDug. So there will be 2 competitions over the next 6 months, split 3 months apart. And it's just have a go at some programming, show what the programming is, and I'll pick someone at random who's entered, and they will win one of these little arcade machines. So there'll be 2 winners. There'll be sort of a main prize and a runners-up prize, if you will. That has crashed again. I think the battery's going flat. So again, let's turn that off because I don't want to risk damaging it, and we'll put it on charge. So we'll play for another half hour until my voice gives up finally on this thing again. Because I think. As I say, it's a bit quirky, but I think there's a lot of fun to be had in this little thing. We will play a hunt for the best games on it. As I say, I'm sure there's some weird gems in here, and you know, if you're into your rare games, maybe there's some popular obscure game that has been long since lost. Who knows? Where's it? Oh yes, it's switched, isn't it? Here we go. I'll stack up all our. We'll make our mini arcade display in the background for some scenery here. You could do with some Ken dolls or something in the background playing looking like they're playing the arcade games. Maybe that would add some dramatic effect here. Better put that out of the way. Animal blocks. Oh, okay. There's a game called Powerpuff Game. It sounds like Powerpuff Girls or something. Let's try that one. Not a very interesting screen there. Slightly disappointing. Okay, this this feels a bit like your Commando type of game, which is weird. Oh, it's more like a space shooter, I guess. At first I thought it was fairly slow moving, but then these flying pigs or whatever they are started screaming across the screen at a crazy rate. Oh, this is I can't get past that scenery. I can jump. Very strange. This one's quite good. I've died already. I wonder if any of these are actually sort of reskins of more famous games. It would kind of defeat the point if they were, because I'm assuming the reason that they're using these weird, unheard of games is because they're not breaking any copyright laws, and if they were doing that using you know, dodgy reskins of official games, that would defeat that purpose. But it's quite common, and as I say, this one just does feel a little bit better than some of the others in that, well, are they using someone, is this originally a particular vertical shooter or Contra or something? Not Contra, sorry, Commando, I meant to say Commando. Oh, you think it's... I thought it said pull. I didn't think it said POW. I thought it said... I can't even find it now. There's so many games on here. It says it's called Power Pull Girl. P-U-L-L as in push and pull. Oh, so you think P-O-W as in prisoner? You think it's a play on prisoner of war? I don't. You could be right. I kind of feel like these have been translated 3 times before they've actually ended up on the screen. You know, some of them don't. It's not clear what they're trying to say at all. So we got violent and rescue cook, free cell. That's like a real thing. Fruit pig, Mars. I'd say so, some of them sound like wrestling. That's obvious. Violent, a bit simple. Fruit pig. Okay, shall we take bets whether the fruit pig game actually contains any fruit or any pigs? Do you think there's a 50-50 chance of it being half right, or do you think it's actually going to be pigs eating fruit? Let's find out. Fruit. Oh no! It is actually legitimate. It is a pig eating fruit. Well, that's fair enough. I was wondering if it was going to be a total mistranslation and it was going to be a greedy guy playing slot machines or something. Can I move actually any faster? I don't seem to be able to. Well, this feels a bit like the mouse one, which was actually it said mouse, but it was whack-a-mole, and this one feels similar in that it's not unpleasant, but it's not clear that you could do anything to lose. I don't seem to be able to move any faster to catch the ones on the other side of the screen, and my score just seems to be going up regardless. I don't really feel like anything I'm doing is making a difference, really. Let's find something else. No, Jesus, I say it was I mean, you certainly could be right, and I kind of get the feeling that, as I say, it feels like there's been a few levels of translation that have gone into some of these names, you know. I mean, it's like this one, Animal Blocks. Animal, B-L-O-K-E-S. So is that supposed to be blocks as in squares, which shouldn't have that E in there? Or is it... I don't know. Let's try it. The title screen says the same. I'm really sick of this cough. I really am. It's not making my... Oh, okay, so this... This demands much closer inspection. I mean, they look like Mahjong tiles. That is fascinating. So is this like matching the tiles? Like the Kyodai Mahjong or something? Yes, I think it is. I think this is like the Kyodai Mahjong that you have to collect. You have to pick matching tiles. That's quite good. I'd say this is a real hit and miss machine here. There's some real weird stuff that's not great, and there's some quite fascinating stuff on here that I think you could have quite a lot of fun on. And if I keep, are they? Oh, they're not the same. I'm not looking closely enough. So presumably we have to select all the matching tiles until the screen's clear, like in the Kyodai Mahjong is a game you can get for the PC. I think there's a trial version that's free. Let's just say it's not the same Mahjong, the competitive Mahjong. It's like a tile matching game that you can play, but if you pick up the tiles in the wrong order, then you end up stuck. So it's a game that with a certain element of skill to it. It's not just a random game. But yeah, I mean, I'm not going to play it. I'm not going to play it any longer. But that one's, I'd say that one's quite nice. And the title, it was reasonably accurate. It was animals, and they were tiles at least. I'm not sure they were quite blocks. We've got this weird police dog Lacey. Is it supposed to be oh, it shouldn't be lazy, but is it supposed to be Lassie, like the famous dog? Let's try it. But the other surprising thing is these are all in English. If this is if this is, you know, say some Chinese special, you'd have thought they'd be in a foreign language. It'd be in Chinese or in some other foreign language. They're all in English. And as I say, they feel like the games are too good to just be. They don't just feel like shovelware that someone's been given the challenge of make 200 games in 10 minutes. Well, I mean, Jesus, I mean, the thing you suspect is that maybe if you're feeling a bit clever and you look online, maybe you can unscrew the back and there's a COM port and you can upload a new firmware, so you wouldn't even need to. And as I say, if this is a NES, maybe you can get it to run Super Mario 3. You kind of wonder, don't you? But I mean... But I mean, that's another question that occurs to me is if these are NES games and these ones came out on some localized miniature, you know, clone console, why is there no select button? None of these games have mentioned a select button, and this machine doesn't. I mean, it's got 3 buttons here, but this is reset and this is start and this is volume. So if this is a NES, which it certainly looks like it is, have these games been in some way recompiled for this unit? Because you'd have thought if they were designed to be played on a real NES, there'd be a select. But I mean, the other thing is with regards to the Pi Zero is there even any point? Because you can buy those screens for the Pi Zero for, you know, for $20, $30 and things. So you kind of wonder if the cost of this unit was $50. If you're gonna if you're gonna gut it and put a Pi Zero in, is there any point? But as I say, you're certainly right. If you had I mean, with that, it's probably running a Genesis. But if you had that running like your Super Nintendo and your Neo Geo, that would be a really nice bit of kit, wouldn't it? So I don't disagree. I just in a lot of ways at the moment, I'm just more interested in, are there any real fascinating games in here? So what am I actually... I'm like a little dog here. And I got blown up. If I press A, I seem to like do a little Scrabble, but I'm not quite clear what that's doing. Am I supposed to be digging up these bushes? Yeah, I mean, it's very hit and miss. Some of them are, I mean, none of them look like they've been just made to fill space. As I say, with Action 52, you could tell they were using the same game over and over again just to fill up the numbers. And none of them feel that bad, but some of them, there's a distinct difference in quality that some feel like they've been kind of quickly rushed out, or even though they're a self-contained game. I did see one earlier. There was the Crystal Ball game and another game. So it did look like they were using the same game engine, although mostly different sprites. But it felt like it was a port of, you know, they converted one game into the other. But let's have a look for some. I mean, there's some weird ones, like Apple Chess is actually reverse eye, but it was a reasonably decent reverse eye, although the fact that I beat it is suspicious because I usually don't beat them. Let's try old Wild Worm. Let's see. Let's try Worms Gone Wild. That's a caterpillar, that's not a worm. So, I think I'm eating these flowers. Oh no, that giant butterfly or bee or whatever it is flying around. Oh, I've got bigger. I'm lacking. I'm not seeing a great amount of wildness going on, and as I say, it's not technically a worm. It's a caterpillar. Like the other one, we do have a very short music loop here. I mean, one would assume there's not going to be any credible memory limitations on this hardware. You know, considering even like the tiniest SD card these days would have the entire NES back catalogue on it. I can't believe that if they've made these games for this, they'd be under any memory limitation on each individual one. But the music on a few has been very short and repetitive. I don't know if anyone recognises any of these. If this has been released as on a 200-in-1 cartridge before or anything like that. They must have come from somewhere. I can't believe they hired a programmer to write NES games just for this unit. It'd be too even if the games were a bit iffy, it would be surely too expensive. What happened there? Okay, so I'm a swimmer, and I'm swimming away from the octopus, and then and then if I get caught, I get wrapped up, and then it starts again. That thing's way too fast. How am I supposed to escape it? Yeah, that one's not so great. Goblet. Oh, we played Goblet Tower. That was Towers of Hanoi. That was simple, but it was. I mean, Towers of Hanoi is quite fun. Toad in the Hole. Yeah, I'll go on then. Toad in the Hole is like sausages and mashed potato. Is it mashed potato or is it a batter? I forget. Anyway, it's like an English dish, and I'm a bit surprised to see the name on a. Oh, now come on, that's Whack-A-Mole again. That's the exact same game as we played before, which was something about mice last time. And again, it's not. They keep getting the name. They keep getting the animal names wrong as well. So there are a few then that are the same game, slightly rehashed. Then it looks like, which is a shame. That Hitmouse. That was it. It was hit. That was almost the same game was Hitmouse, but Hitmouse had an up, down, left, right grid, and that had a 3x3 grid. So, but as I say, the sprites were identical as well. So that's a shame. Checkers. Metromania. Let's try Metromania. Oh, we got some graphic there. Are we getting a Micro Machines game? Oh, well, I've obviously lost this race. Are we just going vertically then? Yes, we are, aren't we? Well, never mind. Might be. Now, for a moment there, I thought that was like it looked a bit like the Spy Hunter car, the truck that you get into when you gain power-ups, and I was hoping maybe it would give me something if I drove into it, but it didn't. It just killed me. So that was my stupid mistake. I think those are supposed to be cyclists. Well, I'm not quite sure what to make of this, but I mean, it's not unpleasant. I'd need to play it more to work out if it's good or not. I say it feels like Spy Hunter, you know, Spy Hunter is an okay game. I'm not sure if the controls were a bit iffy on it, or if it feels like when I hit anything, I just kind of fly completely out of control. So I can't work out whether that's just I haven't worked out how to play the game yet, or whether you've got almost no control over yourself. Police versus Thief, Pong Pong, Rabbit Village. I can't remember if we played Rabbit Village already. Well, I mean, in some ways it'd be interesting to go through them one by one and give each one a score and work out which are the best. The only problem I have with that is I think if I did that the machine would be so worn out, it would be no longer, you know, I'd probably snap that in half by the time I get halfway through the bad games. The Turtles game isn't Ninja Turtles, we've already confirmed that. Fruit Pig, that was fruit falling from the sky, wasn't it? Lunation? Fear Master. That sounds... Gladius. I mean, is it supposed to be Gradius? I mean, let's try Fear Master. That sounds... That sounds pretty dramatic. I'm not exactly feeling instilled with masterful fear here. I'll give it its due though, the video animation's very good. I mean, the Bubble Bobble, when there was the vertical scrolling, there was a noticeable, you could see the refresh, and I don't really see any problems with this. And there might be a very slight one, but no worse than the Bubble Bobble. Although, to be fair, this was more expensive than the Bubble Bobble. But, to say really what it's going to come down to is how many of the games in this are sort of hidden gems and how many are just complete twaddle. And I don't know the answer to that, and it would take quite a long I mean, yeah, I could do an entire live stream just on this, going through all 200 games one by one and playing them all, but I'll say, what on earth is going on here? Oh, grief, I have no idea. That looked like some kind of shootout game. Well, I'm going to continue till 9:30. As I say, I think this is probably going to start getting boring. And as you can tell, my voice is giving out anyway. So I think it's going to be more coughing than talking if I keep going much longer. So we'll play a few more, and then we'll call it a day. If that's okay for everyone. I would have preferred to go until 10 o'clock, but I've played all the machines, and as I say, my throat's not making this easy anyway, and I'm not sure it's enjoyable for everyone, you know, with me coughing all the time and muting the mic all the time. So I think all round we'll just finish a little bit longer. I really appreciate that so many people have dropped in, and I've seen a few new names turn up tonight, which is very kind of you. What do I do for a living? I'm general IT these days. There's not really any one particular thing. I do some coding, but I do technical support and things as well. So let's try wrestling and see if it is actually a wrestling game or not, or whether it's something completely obscure. Yes, it is wrestling. Okay. It's just with the dodgy translations. I was wondering if it was going to be something totally random, you know, like a beat 'em up or something, or maybe we're just something completely obscure. Just looking at the crowd there, the little heads in the background. I was just wondering what they actually, whether they weren't just random ASCII characters or something, but they're not. They are legitimate little heads. Well, I have no interest in wrestling in little computer games or otherwise, so we'll just skip past that. Let's look for another few ones with weird titles. Brother Ball. Go on, let's see how they explain that. We've got a little animation cutscene. It seems as I said before, another one. There seems to be a moderate amount of effort into some of them. You know, there's not just the make some rubbish and put it on a thing and people will buy it just because of the number of games kind of thing. It does feel like they've actually put some effort in places. What on earth do I have to do here? Collect these guys? Oh, okay, yeah, okay, so I need to... So this is a bit like your Panic Dizzy that we need to rescue... Oh. So I need to rescue these guys from here, and I guess I need to avoid getting hit by that flying saucer in the process. I'm not sure why some of them say help and some don't. I'm not quite sure what to make of that. Now, I was always quite a hang on a minute. Oh, when do I do live coding? Sorry, I see what you mean. It's 5 AM on a Friday, Japan time, which is late afternoon. If you, I'm forgetting what territory you're in. If you check my forum, there's like if you check my forum, you'll see there's like a time chart with all the territories. Sorry, knocking the camera here. But the other thing is, I've not set it up yet, but if you check back on the front page of my channel, by Monday morning, Japan time at least, I'll try and get it done tomorrow morning. It's getting late here. It's 9:30. But I always put them up in advance. So if you check early next week, you'll see the scheduled one, and if you click on it, it'll say scheduled for, and it will show the correct time that it occurs in your territory for if you want to join. It's probably going to be 68,000 next week. I'll be just writing some tutorials, but it's as I say, it does vary every week. I see there's a new user, Ree, in the Discord. I don't know if I assume there's someone following. I'm not sure who that is, but thank you for joining in. I'll be chatting a little while in there just after this live stream ends. So my voice is giving up for the live stream, but I won't be going to bed just yet, so I will. Now this I'm quite enjoying this one. As I say, there are some quite nice games in here. But yeah, So I'll just reiterate. The way I'm doing the live streams is this one is always starting at 6 Japan time and carrying on. So whatever time you're finding it this week, it will be every week unless I'm ill or got some urgent business that I can't do it. And the Friday one is the same time every Friday morning. So again, once you've got used to whatever time it is for you, you know, a kickoff fan, okay. So again, yeah, as I say, you just find out what time it is for you, and then you can just rely on it being the same time every week. The midday ones, the Wednesday ones, I'm planning to do over the Christmas period. That's a special one. So again, but the other thing is, if you want to know when the Friday one is, if you check the last one, I assume it tells you when it was streamed in your territory. So again, you can check the time from that. But hopefully my cough will be a bit better by then. It's driving me nuts a bit today. Anyway, I say that one's I quite like that one. A lot of people don't like Dizzy Panic, but I always find it quite enjoyable, and that is a very similar game, so I think I would probably enjoy that one quite a bit. So let's try this Vigilant one and see if it's Vigilante or if it's someone paying a lot of attention. Oh, okay, so it's a space game. Oh, that's a surprise. So, I mean, it's... I mean, so it's a very simple Gradius, I guess. And again, I mean, it's not unpleasant. I've spent money on much worse games, I'll be honest. I'd say it's not spectacular, but it doesn't feel like something that was just churned out with the intention of claiming you've released a game. As I say, I keep comparing to Action 52 because some of the things on that they knew full well were unplayable and were just terrible, whereas this is just, you know, a little bit, you know, it's got something to it, but it's quite difficult as well. So. Fish War. That title still gets me. Strong Pick. Oh, Strong PJCC. Oh, okay, that's even more baffling. Oh, I just lost the word. Does PJCC mean anything to anyone? And what on earth is... I mean, it looks a bit like the cool Spot logo or something. I haven't a clue what I'm looking at. Okay, so it's a bit like your sort of Pengu, is it? The tile, the block, or the Dizzy quick snacks kind of thing. We got like some tile blocking, pushing going on here, and we have to get to that little thing. Well, again, this is quite enjoyable. It's not a badly designed little game. I'm not sure how good the difficulty is. Anything I'm noticing is some of these blocks can be moved and some can't, and it's not. I can't see any difference in the blocks to know which ones I can push and which I can't. But again, it's a cute little game. It's perfectly enjoyable. I say I have to be honest. I'm enjoying this with its weird little games more than I'm enjoying. Than I enjoyed the Gradius one, which was a proper licensed thing. I think I'm stuck here. Can't pull that, can I? I say, I think I think you could probably get a few days of entertainment out of this just playing through the random games one by one. water pipe. Let's see if that's some kind of pipe dream clone. Again, I don't put a lot of effort into the design of the oh. Okay, so what's going on? I don't understand. What am I supposed to do? Oh, hang on a minute. Hang on a minute. It's the angle. It's visible on your screen, but from the angle I was viewing it, the background all looked black. I didn't realise I was doing anything. Okay. So this is this like Loops or Pipe Mania? I'm not that familiar with Pipe Mania. Well, I think I've blown this. I don't think there's any way I can win this because I've blocked up the entry. But as I say, from the angle I was viewing, I was basically seeing that. I couldn't see anything. So I guess the, I mean, it wouldn't be a problem if you're playing it normally, but there's a kind of, I mean, the camera's accurately representing it. There's basically a blind spot there. Front on, visually it looks fine, and at that angle it looks fine, but just there. There's a blind spot, and that was the exact spot I was sitting at. So, so I got this vertical on here. So if I place that here, well, I don't know what on earth I'm going to do with that. Let's place that here, and hopefully we can. Got no idea. I'm not sure what I'm supposed to do. Do I have to, if I put the T-junction in, is it going to overflow somewhere? Or is that, or do I just have to connect it? Or do I have to sort of make sure there's no leaks? I'm not sure what I'm doing here. I've run out of time. Okay, well let's try. Let's assume we just need to make a connection, and it doesn't matter if there's sort of gaps in it. Let's try on that theory, and let's see if I'm right. I cleared that, didn't I? So that was okay. So we don't need to, we just need to make a join. We don't need it to be a watertight join. So this is another one that the game is, I'd say this, I've done that wrong. The game's decent, but the music's, again, just like this one tiny little pretty lousy loop, really. I mean, just from a coding point of view, though, I think these are perfectly. Really, none of them have been completely unacceptable. And some of them have been very simple, and some of them have been much more decent. But all of them are, yeah, I say the coders who've made these games, and I'm kind of guessing they were possibly different people and things. They've all done a decent job for what they are. As I say, I don't think I've seen anything that's been full on, completely unplayable. As I say, Action 52 level of it being really void of any purpose other than filler. I mean, there was a few that, as I say, that mole one, the Whack-A-Mole, did feel like it was just the exact same game as one we'd already seen. But the game itself, while it felt a little bit easy, didn't fit. It wasn't the case that it was just completely unplayable or anything. It was just It was just to say it just wasn't really that amazing. But, this is giving me all kinds of lousy tiles here. Is it doing it? I kind of wonder if it's doing it on purpose here. Okay, well, anyway, I'm going to turn this off now. I'm going to be calling it a day at this point then, because as I say, my throat is struggling a little bit. I appreciate everyone who's joined. I will be posting a proper post onto the forum tomorrow, which will be announcing the actual competition. As I say, you can very easily get started now if you want. All you need to do is post something, sign up to the forum, post in the show and tell, showing some kind of project which contains some assembly that you've worked on. It can be based on parts of my tutorials, and just show us what it is, tell us what you're doing, and as long as you can show you've actually made some effort to program something, that's fine. And from the people who post after today, I will select 2 at random in 3 months' time, and one will win this machine, and one will win the PacMan. And then at some point in the future, around 3 months later, after these 2 have been given away, we will do a second one with the same rules, and that time you will win the weird little Genesis without the battery, because I can't ship the battery, and the little DigDug. So if you want to win those, there you go, and all you have to do is have a little go at programming. So hopefully, as I say, the idea is you get a little incentive to have a go at having a program. I hope you enjoyed the stream. I do apologise for my terrible coughing, but I wanted to give the stream a go, and I can't control my wellness, unfortunately. So anyway, I thank everyone for joining. Hope you found these things interesting, and maybe if you want to consider buying one yourself, you've maybe had some idea of which ones are worth which. Thanks for everyone who's been watching and commenting. Thanks Kiltech, Mike, Jesus, Urkor, I'm not sure how to pronounce it. Urkor is that. My 4K monitor, the text is a bit small for the distance I have to sit for the camera, so it gets a bit tricky to read them sometimes. Anyway, please, I think everyone in the chat is probably in there, but please join the Discord if you're watching this later. We have some chat all the time, and I keep everyone updated with what's going on and things, and of course people have got tech questions and things, and we just generally reminisce about old computers and shout about which ones are better than others and that kind of thing. So it's a bit of fun. So anyway, I really appreciate everyone again. Thanks for watching today. I'll put my thanks for watching screen on. There it is. I got my little keyboard here. And thanks again. I really appreciate everyone. Hope you all have a great afternoon or evening, or good night if you're at the 1 AM side of the world. Anyway, thanks for watching, and take care now.